What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Halftime with Bayern Ryan, and we have special guest, Augustus, the man, the myth, the legend, the FT legend of Bayern and
Shit.
everywhere else. Just a quick thing for everybody in the chat, everybody that's watching. There's some shitty weather coming through here, so we're gonna try to get as much done before I get hit with lightning or something. If it does, at least it's recording, and we can put that up on all things Ryan gets
Let's do it.
electrocuted. Devin is here. He's fielding a phone call from a group of people that want him to film some stuff for the EPL in Charlotte. So we've got that going. And yes, we did change the background. I don't know if I can. I can't do that, but basically the background is the 10-year anniversary of us winning the treble. So, fuck. This week
Crazy
has
memories.
been one hell of a shit show of epic proportions. From we're connected to this guy, then Osimhen's gone, then Vlahovic's supposed to be maybe, I guess, a option for a loan for a season, and then getting Kane next season for free. Then it's Kane wants to do this, and Kyle Walker doesn't want anything to do with us, and then Kyle Walker does. Then Benjamin Pavard wants to go to, or Man City wants Pavard, and then Man United wants Pavard, and then Man United gets hit with financial fair play. Yeah, it is shit. Where do we start going over all this nonsense? And not to mention, on top of that, Ferland Mendy is, I think it's Ferland Mendy. We'll add
Yeah.
Devin in, but Ferland Mendy is actually a free man. I think isn't it Ferland Mendy, or which Mendy is?
It's Benjamin.
Benjamin Mendy.
Benjamin
Yeah.
Mendy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Benjamin Mendy is now free, and yeah, that been gone for 2 years. That's gotta really suck for you to go to jail for all that type of stuff, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh well, you're innocent. 2 years after your career and the year after the team you should have been on won literally everything. So yeah, that pretty much sucks. But we're gonna go ahead and let Mr. Augustus, since everybody in the chat is singing your praises. We'll go ahead and let you pick the topic that we start with, or what direction we start the broadcast, or the whatever the stream, whatever y'all want to call this crap. But I would say
between friends, man. Come on, man. Just call it what it is.
Who's around?
It's just a conversation between friends. You know,
we're family. But
It is. I mean, that's the whole
let
point.
You go with it. And we'll let you introduce yourself a little bit better than what we're good at.
Well, I honestly see myself as a Twitter account. I don't see myself any more than that. But I've played football. I've studied football. It's been, I don't know, I think since growing up, I always been into football. My dad also played football. So I grew up in a family that kind of loved football. And I'm all about that. So if you see me on Twitter, I usually don't try to share my pictures, don't try to share my personal life, because for me, that's, my spot. That's my sanctuary, if we can call it that. Yeah.
You're in the football Twitter. That's kind of the rule. You're not supposed to anybody know who you are. It's kind of along the lines of I dare I say, an online Sudkur, online ultras.
Yeah.
So basically, if you talk shit, you're not getting hit out in the middle of the street because nobody knows who you look like, and nobody's gonna punch a Jamal Musiala freaking avatar. But see, that's the difference between a lot of the FT and me. Is everything I post is attached to my face and everything else. So I mean, I'm not really hiding behind that. But for you, I understand there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people that either really like you or in other fan bases really hate you. But the thing is it's like I told everybody when everybody was like, oh, you should be you should run against Herbert Heiner for president. And that's when I was like, yeah, I'd bring Augustus on as the talent scout, because he's the guy that knows the most about the most random people. I'll blame you for the whole Mark Roca thing. I'll blame you for that.
Can I ask you some
Or-
questions as a non-Bayern fan? Like, what's going on with Tell? What's going on with Matisse Tell? Like, is that's a saga that doesn't really seem to have any answers right now.
Yeah, I mean,
don't-
it's a bit of a complicated situation. I would say he's a Bayern fan from what it seems. Honestly, everything he does is exemplary. You know, like he's a great player, great talent. He trains hard, he works hard. He clearly has enough talent to play for Bayern. Now, I do understand Bayern side like trying to loan him. I also understand his side. You know, if you play for the club you want to play for, you want to succeed at Bayern, you're very motivated, you're very ambitious. As he is, I think it makes a lot of sense. And you know, one thing I really love about Matistel is his slogan, if we can call it that. But he says "précis, pas pressé," and in French it means like precise, not like how can I translate it? But like not trying to do things very fast, you know, trying to be very precise instead. And it's really him, you know, like
Yeah.
that's
Trust the process almost, you know, like he's
exactly.
But he seems so talented, but also so blocked, you know, in that lineup. It's almost like a loan would do him good, much like Fowler and Balogun at Arsenal. Like he had to go to Reed to get the exposure. But now that's kind of created an issue for us because he wants first team football. So I understand the stance. I just want to know what your thoughts would be on the best move for him. Is it to stay and fight for his position, or is it to go get first team?
Stay and play, for me, it's
Yeah.
stay and play wing when we get rid of Sadio Mane in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the dream plan, but
that's pretty much the best and only plan. Because if you loan him out, you're risking him wanting to come back and do like, how do you say his name?
Balogun.
Devin Balogun.
Yeah,
and you risk that of him scoring 25 goals in the Bundesliga, and then we sign a geriatric striker from fucking Spurs. Kid scores 21 and he scores like say 24 or something. Say he wins the scoring title. Then we have an issue of when he comes back, should he start? The fan base will now start to be broken in half of Team Tell versus Team Kane. Then you have the Choupo-Moting guys, because Choupo-Moting's done everything we've asked of him and never really had an issue with it.
He just keeps scoring goals. Like that's the thing about him is like
he just does his job.
And keeps getting injured. But other than that, it's perfect.
But I mean, he's in that range of more of a physical striker. But when you get to that, well, not even really a physical striker, a physical center forward, because he's not truly a number 9. But the thing is he likes playing back, so he gets beat up a little bit more, and he's old enough, 1, to know not to do that, and 2, he's old enough to where if you flick him, it's gonna pop something. So I mean,
it's just a strange window because as an Arsenal fan, you know, seeing us as a purchasing club, and not really seeing Bayern as active in the window. It's looking back, it's not. I mean, I've heard Vlahovic, I've heard other different names, you know, for potentials for you guys, but nothing really seems to be advanced or in any, you know, like we announced Urian Timber and we're announcing Declan Rice, I believe, today. So it's just I haven't heard any. Do you know of anything moving in your camp, or is there anything going on that maybe behind the scenes a little bit?
Yeah, well, to be honest, like the way I see Bayern is very different than maybe most of Twitter accounts, I would say, and it's very fine. Like I really accept every different opinion, but for me, I think from last season we saw that we basically have 2 big needs based on what we've seen under Thomas Tuchel as well. One of them is the striker position, so it's Kane, and the second one is a defensive midfielder position, or in a double pivot, more defensive midfielder than Joshua Kimmich, because the goal is to push him forward. The goal is to make the best out of his creativity, which I totally understand. Now other coaches see it differently, and I totally understand that point because I think he's a player who can play like in any position.
He's still one of the best around. He's still
he is excellent in all phases, you know, of the game, and you have to give him that. You know, you have to understand that he's just highly intelligent, and different coaches would use him differently. Now, based on that, I think it's very normal that we try not to be, like going after every other player. So the position that we really need, based on the board as well, what they said is the striker position.
Yeah.
Like Kale came and he said, "This is not normal. We missed Lewandowski, and now we need to replace him." And you have to understand him. He's been a striker. He's been at the club for like so long. He built this club with Uli Hoeneß, and yeah, I also see that there is a big need for a striker now. The striker market is crazy. Like, what do you do? Everyone is super expensive.
I can tell you what to do. I can tell you exactly what
I mean,
to do.
yeah, there's
I'm very
Vlahovic,
flagrant about that. Yeah, it's Vlahovic, and then you throw 80 million at him, you get the kid, and the kid works.
You need to tell me why though, because what did you see?
Why?
What did you see at Fiorentina? What did you see out of this kid that, like, hold on,
okay?
As somebody whose team was put through the ringer by him and his agent.
Okay.
What do you see? He was terrible last season. One of the most inconsistent.
Yes, he was. Okay. He was okay. One
about him.
Okay, 80 million is because he's young and he's a striker that a lot of teams want. He's what?
Isn't he
23?
Oh, I thought he was 26. That's my fault.
No, he's
very
like
young.
He's
I don't know
the
exactly
same
how
age
old is he.
I think he's 23, but he's the same age variant of Erling Haaland. He's the same height as Erling.
Yeah, he's 23.
He's the same height as Erling Haaland. He's the same body type of Erling Haaland. Same speed of Erling Haaland.
But he reminds me more of Torres. Like he reminds me more of like
what? Torres from Spain?
Yeah, like when he went from Liverpool to Chelsea. Like,
Shut your ass up.
I think Torres was a lot more complete as a striker than Vlahovic. A lot more faster, better with the ball.
The issue of Vlahovic is at Fiorentina when he had Chiesa and he had Ribéry and he had those guys with him. He didn't have to worry about the coming back and playing the Lewandowski and Kane role because Chiesa could do that. Ribéry could create. You know what I'm saying? He had creators with him. Then he did the stupid thing of let's go to Juventus because it's Juventus. Obviously, that's supposed to be supposed to be the step up. But the thing is, and it's the same thing we saw with Matthias de Ligt, an extremely good young player that goes and plays for that ass clown, Allegri, and he basically fucking just pisses off pretty much 99% of the team. Chiesa wants out. Di Maria cussed him out in the damn news. Vlahovic literally pretended to be injured so he didn't have to play for him.
It's crazy.
I mean, the thing is they don't. That's why that's why with him playing at Juventus, I don't give a shit if you give him Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland's only going to get 12 goals because he's going to get sick of that defending shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I remember when people were comparing Vlahovic to Haaland, and I said it back then. Like, I don't think they're
he's a very uncut
Haaland is
gem. Well, he's an uncut gem. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come up the same way Erling Haaland did. He didn't play at the same types of teams. He played at lower end teams, and his first big team is Juventus. That's predominantly defend. I mean, it's worse than say Atletico Madrid in the way that it's Atletico Madrid Walmart
on
version.
steroids. No, but I get you on that point.
Version. They can't play fucking counterattack for shit because they don't have nothing coming out the back no more.
Here's the question: why not go with somebody that's proven in the Bundesliga? Like, I know you're gonna hate this name, Ryan, and I know you're gonna yell at me for it, but why not go after a Kolo Muani? Yeah.
Because tell me what Kolo Muani did last year.
He did a lot. I mean, listen.
Besides Mr. Augustus down there, there's everybody that's done everything.
No.
Tell me if you even knew Kolo Muani's name in this time last year. Because I'll guarantee you, 99% of people screaming Kolo Muani's name had not a fucking clue who that guy was, except for Augustus because he knew who he was like fucking 10 years ago.
No,
he knew him when he was when he was 12 playing on the under 12 French team or some crazy shit.
No, not to that.
But no,
level.
I mean, Kolo Muani. What I see in Kolo Muani, I don't want because Kolo Muani we already have. If we want that type of player, we've got the older version Sadio Mane. we've got the younger version in Matthias Tell. So we don't really need what Kolomwani brings because we really already have it. We just have it as a more uncut version, kind of like the Vlahovic version of Erling Haaland. Matthias Tell is the
winger. I mean, I see him as more of like a
Matthias Tell's a 9.
Yeah.
I mean, but Sadio Mane is not. You know,
Sadio Mane can play center forward. He can play left wing.
I think of it more.
Well, okay. Let me clarify that. At Liverpool, he could play left wing and center forward. At Bayern Munich, he can't play with himself in the fucking locker room. He'd get called offsides before he finished. Let's just fucking not bullshit around here.
No, but like
yeah. See, Augustus likes me better on Twitter because
no, but Ryan is savage, you know. There's no limits. But
okay,
for me,
okay, I'll put it a nice way. Sadio Mane is to Bayern what Salt Bay is to the cooking industry. So, something nobody fucking needs. Nobody gives a shit. He's flash in the pan. We don't fucking care.
That's such a crazy fall from grace because what he was. But like what Sadio Mane was with that trio up front with Salah and Firmino and like what he meant to that club to see.
Yeah.
How do you explain it? How do you explain? Is it just
Jurgen Klopp?
No, it was more than that. Like he was really good, you know. Like let's be honest. But he lost a lot of his explosiveness. You know, he's not as fast as he was. He had a few issues. Now
it's his first really big injury, right? He never really had a major knee injury.
Not that I can think of.
No. Really don't know. But you know, like he lost a lot of his pace. He's lost a lot of like basically the way he used to play is not similar anymore. So I think he needs to adapt a little bit. But to be honest, one of the reasons I want Kane is Mane. Like I do believe that Gnabry and Mane can benefit a lot from someone like Kane. To be honest, like
Serge Gnabry's a god. He doesn't need anyone. Serge Gnabry just floats down the field and is like, "Fuck y'all, I'm gonna score."
He just needs to come home.
He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. But
fuck you, come home.
He just needs to come home.
Nah,
bitch, he's German. If he comes home, he's going to Stuttgart. We nobody wants him to go to Stuttgart. Sweet baby Jesus, we definitely don't need that stupid shit. But my thing with Mane is we paid what 35 million for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
ish.
Around that.
We've already practically said we don't want him, and don't really need him going forward.
Yeah.
The group in Saudi Arabia has already said we want him. Well, give us fucking 50 million and fuck off.
Isn't that player
all to the day?
Does he want to go? You know, like that's the question.
We're facing the same thing with
I don't
Thomas
give
Partey.
a shit if he wants to go. I'll pack his shit.
Speaking of unsettled players, what the fuck happened with Ryan Gravenberch?
He doesn't know how to shut his goddamn mouth in the media. How about that? Maybe because, hey, kid, did you see what midfield you were walking into? Do you think you're talented enough to tell Joshua Kimmich? And I know there's a lot of FT people in here, and I'm going to piss them off when I say this, but did you really think that motherfucker was going to walk into over Goretzka and Kimmich? Now, Goretzka kind of shit the bed this year. We can't lie. But going into the season, Leon Goretzka still is head and shoulders above his ass. So, I mean, but the thing is the worst thing you could do for a young player is go into the media and bitch. That's the absolute worst thing you can do.
Augustus,
this ain't fucking UFC. You're not bitching your way into a title fight, bro.
What happened? What happened on the ground? Is it just him talking and not putting in the work, or is it? Because that was such a transfer from Ajax, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he is as great of a talent as they come. You know, like he came as a big talent. He came with a lot of promises, so I do understand his position as well. Like I think that the club or Brazo promised him a lot more than he got, you know. So he came in, he didn't play, he had a good preseason and then he didn't play, and I do understand how that can be very frustrating. Now the problem I have with Gravenberch is basically that he didn't ask himself the question, why is he not playing, and instead he just went to the media and started like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm not playing, then I will think about leaving. And I understand, you know, when you're that big of a talent again, you have a lot of other clubs, you know, turning around you. So it gets to your head and it's very easy. But in reality, if you go from Bayern after failing at Bayern and you fail at another club, like let's say you go to Liverpool and then you fail there, your career is over.
You're going, yeah.
It's done. It's over.
And the thing is, and I've heard, I say heard, but on Twitter I've seen. So, but I've seen people compare him to like a Renato Sanchez. Like, oh, when he leaves Bayern, he's going to go to this place and dominate. Renato still hasn't dominated shit.
No.
But he didn't go completely off the edge. You know what I'm saying? He went from Bayern to Lille and kind of got that confidence back and all that kind of stuff. Went to PSG, and I think he's hitting that wall again where you're going back to a team that is stacked in the midfield and just continues to stack in the midfield. Renato, you may be that guy that excels, and Devin, don't take this as a bad way, but at an Arsenal, at a Tottenham, at a, you know what I'm saying, a Leverkusen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean Arsenal is a bit bigger,
Frankfurt.
but yeah.
But the thing is if Thomas Partey can be one of their best midfielders, Renato's just as fucking good as Thomas Partey is.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
like,
even gonna bullshit.
You know,
Devin may not agree, but I don't give a shit.
Like Renato, I fully understand because I think a lot of people don't really understand it. But when you come from a country at 18 and you move to another country, and I have been through the same thing kind of when I moved to Europe, and you live alone in the dark, it's barely sunny. You know, you come from Portugal where you had like a great life, you were a great talent, you came up from a great Euro. It's tough. It's tough. Like that's something I can't apply to Gravenberch because he came from Holland, he came from Amsterdam.
Yeah,
it's as rainy, it's as, you know, like gloomy. I don't know how to put it, but like Renato I can fully understand. And the problem I have with Renato is he was very, very talented. Like for me, I would say one of the most talented young midfielders I've ever seen, and people would not understand it, but you had to be there, you had to watch him, and you had to go and watch him at the Euros.
I think he ran into a buzzsaw bad coach. Because he was here with Niko Kovac, right? Wasn't that the coach?
Yeah, it was even with Ancelotti, but I think Ancelotti's assistant manager forgot the name, but he took him with him to Swansea, there he said like the guy would dribble everyone in the training, and then I would start him, and he played like nothing. Shit. Yeah. And he's like very bad. So it was clearly like psychological, because in terms of talent, I think he was one of the most talented young midfielders we've ever seen, you know, like in like he was complete. Like people would not understand it, but he was very, very complete at his age. He was missing a few things, but at 18, like come on, like the guy was a beast physically. Like
nobody's a finished product at that age.
Yeah.
Now, let's just you said a term that actually I want to answer. Ansar Kareem, how's Havertz working with me at Arsenal? I will answer that in full in 2 seconds. But I wanted to ask Augustus. You said a very poignant term that's like failure. So when you think about that term failure, it made me instantly harken back to Harry Kane. If Harry Kane leaves Tottenham as their all-time scoring leader, you know, as many goals as he has in the Premier League, but no trophies, no silverware, no meaningful championships other than a Champions League finals appearance where they lost. If he comes to Bayern, is his Premier League career a failure in your opinion?
It's a tough question, but it's a very good one. It's a very good one. But I'll be honest.
He actually answered that in the. Have you seen the Hot Ones on YouTube where he eats the hot wings?
No, I didn't watch the episode yet.
Yeah, I was
working. Yeah.
He essentially answered if he's coming to Bayern or not in that.
Well, yeah, I saw that he said like the club I'm at or something like that.
Yeah, the thing is if you read and look at the way, like when he starts talking about Heung-min Son, when he starts talking about Son, and it's like it took us forever to build that camaraderie, that trust, and now we finally got it to where Son can just pass it and knows where I'm at without even having to look. He can just pass it, and we read each other and that type of stuff. But watching the facial expressions that he has talking about Son, I don't see him leaving that guy right now. So I see what I see with Kane is seeing that, and yes, it's not reading into it as far as like, oh, he follows and unfollows fucking people on Twitter, that type of dumb shit. But looking at the way when he speaks about Heung-min Son, he doesn't want to leave him. So I can see him staying until he's the end of this season, right?
But why? You know, that's the question for me. You know, like
but
why?
the thing is because he wants to give Son that much.
I mean,
but the thing is what
yeah.
I'm okay. Once y'all watch it, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
No, I get you. Like
but
that's
the
why I don't
thing
want to
is
talk about it. Like,
but I also see of Kane is if he stay, and this is even if he doesn't, like Bayern keeps saying like, oh, we'll talk to him in January, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? We'll do if it comes down to it. Kane has said we'll buy him or he'll sign with us, blah blah blah. My thought process on that is if he plays this one season, right? He's only about what I think
he's 30 this summer.
30.
No,
he's 31 in November.
He's 30.
To break the Premier League record, he's only like 50 some odd goals away.
Yeah,
if at the end of this season he scores say 35, then you're going into next season possibly of him only being 10, 11, 12 goals from breaking that record. I don't give a shit how much he fucking blows smoke up fucking Uli Hoeneß and Dresden's fucking ass. If you're staring down a Premier League all-time leading scorer record, and you're only 5, 10, 15,
I don't think it's.
I think you just stay at Spurs.
I mean,
you don't go to Man United.
How close was Lewandowski before he left? Like,
so what? The Bundesliga scoring record?
Yeah,
100 and something.
If he stayed 3 more seasons, I mean, it's very logical.
With Lewandowski, I think his main goal was that 40 goal mark. Because the thing is he wanted Madrid for the past 5 years.
But back to the question:
once he broke that, then it's Barcelona.
Spurs a failure if he leaves this summer.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I mean,
honestly,
as far as a team, yes.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the team goes, yes. But it'd be like Lewandowski.
No, but as a player, you know, you are a player of his quality. You are 30 years old and you never won anything. It's tough. Like you have to look at it. Like you don't compare players based on basically who won the most, but you also compare them based on quality. Like how good are they? And he's obviously a very good player. Now the level at which he's really good, and the fact that he didn't win anything.
You know, he's won everything as a striker, though.
No, but
he didn't win.
Individually, he's won everything. As a team, he hasn't won shit. So the thing is
he's won a Golden Boot. He's won a bunch of Golden Boots. But the thing about it is, if he would have been at Real Madrid in that same time in his same career, he would have won
Ballon d'Or
trophies. He would have won 7
exactly. Like he didn't fail as a player, but like his career so far is a failure. You know.
Yeah.
Overall, that's how it is. As a player, he's extremely talented. He's a very good player, full of qualities. Like he's a very complete striker. Now,
how about this?
You need to win titles.
An example. Hold on. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Who was the kid that we sold to what is it? Vincia? Kid we bought from Gladbach.
Cuisance.
Yeah, Cuisance.
Yeah.
Has a Champions League. Has a DFB Pokal.
Yeah, but he didn't start. Like we don't compare. But that's what I'm saying. You have to look at the player's quality as well. You know, you have to.
He has more shit than fucking Kane does.
Of course. But that's the problem again.
Sven Ulrich has more than what fucking Harry Kane does.
I mean, yeah.
Ulrich plays like once a year.
But Ulrich for his quality.
Karim Benzema and Harry are basically around the same age. So if you put them in compare their teams, like Benzema has titles on titles on titles, and probably should be in more Ballon d'Or conversations than he's been in. You know, I'll
give you that. So, I mean, he's played with arguably the greatest midfield ever assembled 99% of his career.
Harry Kane on that team, and tell me he's not scoring the same amount of goals. Tell me he doesn't have a Ballon d'Or.
Put me on that team and see if I don't score that many goals. Shit, I'll tap in like a motherfucker.
No, but like Karim Benzema, I think he's very underrated. Like,
yeah, I've always had like Lewandowski 1, Benzema 2, Kane 3.
Yeah,
just because Benzema has to play his ass off just to get respect. period.
I
You know what I'm
think,
saying?
yeah, the
Lewandowski
strike, like
scores a lot. Kane scores a lot and assists
the
a lot.
front three he was
But
playing with Benzema.
yeah, but Benzema
Like,
had to do so much to get the respect when he's playing with Bale, Cruz, Ronaldo,
Modric.
yeah,
Ramos, Modric. You know what I'm saying? He's playing with all those guys. You have to be out of your goddamn mind to fucking get your name mentioned in an article with that.
For sure. But
Or you just sign with an MLS team. Messi, you
yeah,
fucking
also he's a
punk.
player. You know what I respect about Benzema is that he really evolved as a player. You know, like he really grew, and the more he grew, the better he got, and that's
I'd go
for me,
one
that's a
step
quality.
further. I'd go one step further and say he grew as a person.
He grew as
Because
a
you got to
person,
think
maybe.
when in his younger days he was a fucking hellion. I mean him and Ribery are
Yeah.
one of a
I mean,
handful that's been
that
completely
whole
kicked off the
French
French
team in
national team.
2010, it was.
I mean, you got to be a savage to basically tell somebody, "Hey, dude, I've got a sex video of your wife."
Yeah, no, that whole
You gotta
French
be
team. I
you
mean,
got to
the
be a savage.
2010 fiasco they went through. But that's also why
Yeah.
I respect Deschamps. You know, like he managed to, like, people don't really see behind like what was happening for a long time. But the French team was struggling. Like I've been
Yeah.
a football fan for like a long time.
Like off the field, they
like
were struggling.
on the field and on the field. You know, like they had great
It
quality
started
players.
off the field, but then it came onto the field.
Exactly. But yeah, on the field they were not that good. I mean, 2010 they were one of the worst teams I think I've seen play in that World Cup.
But on paper they were fucking insane.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like on paper they had like Evra,
crazy.
captain of Manchester, Ribery. They had like Henry, I think, still played around then. I'm not fully sure.
Yeah, he was there
right
at the end.
The team was, but they always had great players. Like for a long time, they always had great players. Like I think 2000 up until now, in terms of quality, they had some of the very best. But yeah, today Deschamps managed to like build that core team. You know, his team is solid. They play for him. They win. They manage to get like very high up in every competition they play. So yeah, you have to respect that. Like going from 2010, all of those problems, and building up to now, winning a World Cup, going to the final the World Cup after. So yeah.
All right, before we let Devin go ape shit on that Havertz thing, this is actually a good point. Agree about Kane, counterpoint. Jovic was supposed to be the next big thing in Frankfurt, went to Madrid and fell off flat on his fucking face. I agree with that. Luka Jovic was supposed to be that guy, but he just never became that
But like,
guy.
listen, like Jovic, for me, if you watched Frankfurt back then, you knew that Haller did a lot of the work for Jovic.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily the better player, but he did a lot of work. You know, like we always love the one who scores the most.
He was the goal scorer and the assist guy.
Yeah. But
Jovic was the goal scorer, and then Ribic pretty much was the guy that did the dirty work.
Exactly. But they worked, you know, and sometimes you have a system that makes you work, like Werner, and you go to another team, and then you have to be like, we've seen it, like we've seen it like coming for miles. Like we told Chelsea fans back then, and they would just like spam these like fucking memes on us, like cry more or something like that, with all the faces of the players they signed. And we told them like, this is not going to work.
Retweet that back, right? Like I went back to the ones where they were telling you to cry more, and I took the picture of Timo Werner shooting it like 5 miles up. And then it was after the news that he had transferred back, and I was like, "Yeah, cry more, motherfucker." Yep.
Exactly. Like
Timo Werner kicked himself back to Leipzig.
But if he went to Liverpool, I think he could have had a better probably like
Leicester City. If he would have went to Leicester City, he would have been a fucking god by now.
Yeah, probably. But I still think, you know, like with Klopp, he knew him better. Like Chelsea, for me, during that Mercato, they did no scouting whatsoever. Like I think Lampard had no idea who he was signing. Like he was just getting players, and he just tried to play them the way he saw on YouTube videos. You know, like that's how it looked for me. Like
that's kind of what Brazo did there for a little bit.
for a minute, that's how all of Man United with Woodward was doing the same thing with wasting the careers of Donny van de Beek and and Chelsea's doing the same thing now. Spending almost $100 million for Mykhailo Mudryk.
Absolutely,
because he did a couple fancy dribbles in a Champions League game against Ajax.
It's the same thing that with Anthony. Because Augustus can say the Bayern FT was losing their minds over Anthony, and all I really saw him do was become a fucking fidget spinner in the middle of the fucking field.
Yeah,
he didn't do a whole hell of a lot, but spin in one place, and then our boy Chris Richards put him on his ass against Crystal Palace. Now let me go ahead and put this one up here because I guess it's
Let's go. Let's go.
What happens with Mazraoui? Now that we are signing Walker, Mazraoui stays.
Are you signing?
Yeah. What?
As of right now, we just have to negotiate the terms with City. And for me, if Benjamin Pavard, I would send Benjamin Pavard there. They would send Kyle Walker plus maybe 5 or 10 million back. And I'd be okay. And it's not because I don't like Benjamin Pavard. I think it's and we mentioned it and Devin remembers we did it, and I think Augustus, you watched it in the Fiago video where it's one of those things that I think he still associates Bayern and the apartment and places that he is in Munich with that depressive side that he had during the pandemic, and it still keeps kicking in and hitting him. So I mean, for me, and just to allow that kid to actually be able to prosper and maybe get out of that same run of things, I wouldn't be mad if we just exchanged Walker with Pavard, and then Mazraoui can still play in the same thing because we all know Walker's getting older.
I mean, like Mazraoui for me is not gonna go anywhere. If he goes, we definitely will be looking for another right back. Like that's just non-negotiable. Like I've said that a long time ago. If Lucas and Pavard leave, then there is definitely a new right back or a new fullback coming, and it was in the end it was Walker. Now Walker comes for me as a super experienced player, someone who Thomas Tuchel wouldn't have a lot of time or need a lot of time to like teach. Basically, he comes already, like he knows everything. Like he was training under Guardiola for so many years. So like he comes fully experienced, and as much as I'm not a big fan of the player himself, I do fully understand, the thought behind it. Now for Mazraoui, for me, is an excellent player. Like he's really a high IQ player. I've seen him play for a long time.
He got screwed over by the World Cup this year. That's
the heart issues. Yeah, I mean, they were very complicated, and then you had the old coach leaving, and then the new coach coming.
That kind of messed with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys with Kyle Walker and Alphonso Davies would literally have the fastest.
Don't mention that motherfucker.
Is it still fast though?
Right now,
like Walker.
Don't mention Davies right now. I'm fucking mad at that piece of shit.
You're always mad at somebody.
Yeah, but I'm fucking mad at Davies.
All right, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back.
Don't keep bringing up fucking Real Madrid with me.
I won't. I'm gonna go back.
No, I'm talking about him. Hold on, I'll find that question for you there, Devin.
Let's go.
I believe it was one of Ansar Kareem about Kai Havertz. I'm excited.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't think that you saw anything close to his best at Chelsea. I think he was played out of position as a true striker. I think he's more of a creative. It's weird to put a number on him because he can play as a false 9. He can play as a 10. He could be an 8. I believe he could be a right-sided 8. In the right pivot system.
Fuck no, he cannot play 8. Hell no. I mean, he doesn't like to get back and play defense.
Well, and the thing about it is with Declan Rice,
you need him in a Thomas Muller type thing,
and that's fine. In our system with him and Odegaard and Declan Rice in the midfield 3, I'm not mad about that.
Flip Odegaard back to the 8 and put Havertz up at the top, and then allow him to play with I don't know if Arteta likes to do it.
That's the issue I have with Havertz is that I don't think Arsenal should adapt their team to him. I think he should he should adapt himself to them. Like, I think you had a great team. You got like great results. Now, can that team be improved? Obviously, because you still can reach the title. You know, you can still maybe try and win it, but I don't think Havertz being positioned deeper would, you know, like that's my little issue with that, like, train of thought.
Same thing that
real quick,
the
Ryan.
same thing that Chelsea did.
Well,
Play him out of position, you're going to fuck him over.
We don't want to do that. I see Arsenal, especially with the inversion of Zinchenko and now Timber and Tomiyasu and White, who can all invert. You're seeing Arsenal play a lot more. I hate to even say it, but like the total vote ball style. Like everybody, it's almost positionless. Like they're doing some because if you think Jesus as a central striker, he slides out more to the wing more than anything.
Yeah.
Martin, he runs from
Don't
wing.
lie, he slides out to the fucking training table. Shut the fuck up.
Well, but the style of ball has evolved from set positions to to a more fluid style.
Totally different, yeah.
So I think Havertz is going to have more creative freedom, but while also he will have defensive responsibility. He'll have Declan Rice as a backstop.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Like in terms of like his skill set, I think Havertz for me is extremely talented. Now the issue I've had with him for a long time for me is mentality. Like I want to see him get dirty. I want to see him like, you know, like a lot of people compare him to Thomas Muller, but I don't think these people watched Thomas Muller growing up. Like when he was very young, when he came on like under Van Gaal, he would like fight like teeth and nail for every ball. Like
Look here, buddy. I've watched
get
Thomas
beaten
Muller
up,
for
you know, like get like
goddamn
elbows in the head, and even like you've seen him with for example Maradona, who called him a kid, and he would go in and score against Argentina in a World Cup quarterfinal. I think. I'm sorry, in terms of mentality, like Thomas Muller is way ahead of Havertz. That's the issue I had with him.
The ability to find the space, that's the only comparison to Thomas Muller you can really do with Kai Havertz.
Yeah, maybe also the fact that they played a lot of roles similarly, you know, like I've seen Havertz also play on the right. He plays a little bit like Muller.
The closest to Muller would be Florian Wirtz. Because Wirtz will fucking fight you.
Yeah.
I mean, that now granted, his issue is it gets him hurt because he's not that fucking big. But the thing is like with Havertz, as long as I've watched him play, and Augustus, you've watched him play as long as I have, back when he was 17 years old, putting Chicharito's little fucking ass on the bench. The thing is he never really excelled until they just said, Kai, this is your spot on the field in the attack. Just fucking do what you want. And when you sit there and give him that space to just say, do what you want, then he's more along the lines of a Mesut Ozil.
I mean, he's excellent. What he can do is probably more complete than Muller. Like in terms of like
he's more
talent,
like
Ozil, pure talent.
Yeah, guys, he's more like Ozil as far as he gets bumped and he fucking gets hurt, but he also disappears.
He's also what? He's what, 23, 24?
He's very young. He's very young, and he had.
I haven't seen the best of him yet, and I believe Mikel Arteta can sell him on the project of what Arsenal is going to be, and I think
I can see that.
I think you're going to see something. Do I want him to be like Kimmich? No, but do I think that he'll run back when he sees the rest of the team running back? You know, in a box to box kind of style. Yes, but I agree. Ultimately,
I can see him as a skinnier version of Goretzka.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him. I could, I guess, see him in that role of like a skinnier version of Goretzka.
I mean, if you have a midfield that can like really like
interchange,
have that physicality and win the ball, he's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he wins aerial duels.
That's why I like
passer
Odegaard.
Of the ball, good shooter, good finisher.
That's why Odegaard should play farther back because he's more of a physical presence than Havertz kind of is. So if you have a Rice beside Odegaard, that's a little bit more of a physical presence.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like if you played football, you notice sometimes there's these profiles of like footballers that are short that don't seem like very physical, but they always win the ball. It's like Modric and etc. Like you can rely on them in a midfield in front of any other midfield you want because they're just very good. Like they know when to attack the ball. They know how to like win it back. And they can keep it, you know, like you can be as physical as you want. You're not going to take it from them. Like you keep moving them, you keep pushing them, and they just turn around you like a fidget spinner, as you said. And you're back. And those midfield, like
I mean,
Kante, for example. Kante was a monster. He's not big.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
I mean,
at fault
honestly,
when he
I'd
was
rather
David Silva at Man
for
City.
Bayern. I'd rather
Silva.
have. As far as
Mata,
like a
yeah.
Bayern fan, I'd rather
Iniesta.
have a Florian Wirtz. I'd rather have a Wirtz than Havertz, just because what Havertz would have brought to Bayern, Musiala already brings. So we don't need another
Yeah.
version of Musiala. We can get a Wirtz that kind of is that hybrid
Yeah,
version.
yeah. I mean, Havertz for me was not needed at Bayern as well. I could see how he can be developed into a number 9, but that's a project. That's not like a number 9 that's ready right
And
now.
Hell
the thing
no.
for us is
and we've seen Flick can't fucking do that. Fuck.
we're bringing
Jesus
in players.
Christ.
We're bringing in players at Arsenal that,
Yeah.
if you notice, like Benjamin White, center back, center defensive mid, or right,
Shitbag.
you know, Tomiyasu, right back or center,
Yeah.
Shitbag.
you know, Saliba, center back, you know, but
Shitbag.
Nah, Saliba is good. I mean,
No, he's
listen,
not.
for me,
I'll
I'll be honest. I was someone who, for a long time, never really liked Arsenal. I don't know
fucking
why.
hate
I think,
Arsenal.
yeah, I think there was this
Yeah.
sense of arrogance
Look,
about their.
he's got a picture of a little redheaded stepchild.
No,
on
but
his
it's
fucking
not
chest.
mean or anything. Like I'm not really a hater. Like if I see a team that's doing very well, I appreciate it. And today, I had like it was a bit painful during Emery because I wanted to see him succeed there as a coach that I like.
I just
But
like
no,
hearing him
Arteta,
talk.
like we gotta give it to him. You know, like the players he signed for me were not really that big of a deal, but he turned them into great players. Like some of them, I'm quite impressed. Some of them I kind of saw coming, but I'm not someone who watches the Premier League that much, so I would not say like I knew everyone. I prefer to watch like the Spanish league or other leagues.
I watch the Premier League because you have to know your enemy. If you're gonna talk shit, you have to know what you're talking shit about.
I can say
Ben White is ass.
The best thing about my club right now is there's an identity that's back.
There is.
I'll give you that.
There's a style of football that's back, and there's a flow of youth. You know,
with
Osaka, with Emile Smith Rowe, with Charlie Patino, with Arthur Okonkwo, all coming through. You know, we just re-signed Nathan Warneri, the 16-year-old prodigy that Man City and everybody was in for. So, you know, I just feel like our Hale End Academy is back, and we're in a spot where you guys are, you know, to where it's like if you don't have to shop outside of your academy to bring up your next superstar, then don't.
We don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal for me.
Shopping at our academy. Dortmund's just right up the fucking street.
No, but Arsenal for me for a long time was their academy. Like I have known Arsenal under Wenger or Wenger or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, I mean he's French, but yeah, everyone calls him Wenger. But yeah, during that time, I mean, he was one of the very best coaches at like developing young talents. Like one of the very best ever, probably.
He was a visionary when he started. Like I mean,
like some of his signings are.
But no, it was the way that he brought that way of playing to the Premier League. Nobody had seen that before. That's why the Invincibles were so freaking ungodly.
Yeah,
is because nobody could keep up with them. Now, granted,
of course. I mean, not losing a single game in a season is.
Yeah, but they drew
like you have to live it. Like it's crazy.
You drew just a shit ton. To be invincible, you have to not lose anything.
26-12.
And how many?
Yeah, but
how many Champions League trophies did you win in that? You ain't invincible for shit. You didn't win no Champions League.
We won the league.
Hebrew.
We won the league. That's all. That's all.
I think they lost against Bayern that year. Actually,
I thought
the
it was
year
Barcelona.
they were invincibles. If I remember correctly, I don't know. But either that year or the year after. But it was very close. It was like 2-1 or something in the first game, and then.
Is Emile Smith Rowe still at Arsenal?
Yes, he is, and he's actually back. He was with the England under-21s.
Yeah, that was such a fucking even tournament, wasn't it?
Well, here's the thing. He was told by Arteta to take 3 weeks off, and he said no. He wanted to come back and he wanted to be part of the preseason tour. So he's back. He wants to fight. The thing about Emile Smith Rowe that I want everybody to understand, he's dealing with a thing called compartment syndrome in his groin, which is basically like minor tears. He has minor tears all throughout his groin that he had to have a surgical procedure for. It was either that or run until your groin tears off the bone. So he had a surgical procedure. He had a couple of setbacks, but the kid has the best work ethic of any player I've ever seen.
Seems he's got a weak groin.
He does. It's unfortunate.
Well, that sucks for his girlfriend then.
It's an unfortunate injury. Back on.
You know what we do?
Yeah.
You know what
he gets injured inside and outside the
Lewandowski ripped his
Exactly.
Lewandowski ripped his groin, and we went in there and fixed that shit.
Yeah, you guys have.
Now, granted, we should rip his groin back out.
Kobe Bryant went to Germany and got his knees fixed after like tearing 4 ACLs in a row. So like, you guys have all kinds of freaky deaky surgeries over
there. Yeah, but they work, huh?
Dude, the healthcare in fucking Germany is insane.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going there to get whatever I need done.
Now, all right. So Zizou asked something. We're gonna bring this. What center back pairing should Bayern start with, or should we start a back three? For me personally, back three.
Yeah. For me,
we're built now for a back three, because now we can have if we get a Kyle Walker, right?
Yeah.
We can have and the way that I would see us set up in a back three is you have Kim Min-jae in the middle, De Ligt on one side, Upamecano on the other. You have, if we get a Kyle Walker, you have Kyle Walker as your right wing back. You make Guerrero your left wing back. And then you have the Conrad Leimer, Kimmich, that type of shit. You have Serge or Coman, or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Because Davies wants to play left wing, well, that's fine. You want to play left wing, we'll put you in left wing. But guess what? Now you're the third string left wing because you're not better than Coman. You're not better than Gnabry. You're not better than
if you
Sané.
play back three, I think you start him. You know, like Davies, like his speed in recovery.
Arguably, for me, as a defending left wing, nobody in the Bundesliga is better than Rafael Guerrero. Period. And I love Davies to death, but Davies couldn't defend his way out of a paper fucking bag.
Both. I mean, they both bad at that.
But Guerrero can defend.
No, I'm not sure.
Not great, but he can defend. Davies fucking can't defend.
I'm not
but
sure.
But the thing is he can. Davies' main thing is he can run back and recover.
Yeah.
Guerrero can do that, but he also can defend a little bit. Davies is best going forward. Guerrero can go forward, but also can get back. So the thing, it's one of those, we have an excess of talent on that left wing. If we get it, or left wing back.
Guerrero's a player, a very, very good squad player, and always has been.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And that's the thing is
exactly like he's a squad player. You know, it's not.
But the thing is Davies, and I'll die on this hill. I don't give a shit. Davies has not been the same Davies since 2021. Yeah,
I know, but that's true. But
Guerrero has only gotten better since 2021. He would if you don't have Rafael Guerrero, Dortmund doesn't even fucking exist the past 2 years. Guerrero's the reason they were in the title chase this year.
Well, granted, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think like more Haller came on and
Haller my ass. Haller wasn't even there for the first half of the season.
Check the stats. Look at when he came back.
I don't have to check no damn stats. Now, granted, I'm not going to talk bad. I'm not going to speak bad on a fellow cancer patient / survivor. But fuck Sebastian Haller.
I mean, no, but
I love him to
all
death.
In all, he's a nice guy. I think
I met him when he was with Frankfurt. We met him in Florida. So he's a big son of a bitch too. But the thing is Guerrero was that guy that created for them. Haller may be the guy that finished, but you hear the Julian Brandt, you hear and Royce didn't do shit. We always know Royce doesn't do fucking anything. But the thing is with Guerrero, and the best part about it that I like is it's the same reason I like Sebastian Rudy. Sebastian Rudy could play left back, right back, center defending mid. He could play the 8. He could play he wasn't very good at the 10, but he could play it if it needed be.
I liked him as a player, so
Guerrero's the better version of him. He can play left back, he can play right back, and he can play center mid as an 8 if we need.
And see, I don't think your defense is the question. The question to me is who starts in your midfield?
Yeah, I mean,
midfield. That defense was a fucking suspect sack of shit this year.
no.
Yeah, the fuck it was.
Come on, it was good. It was good.
That defense
It was more
fucking
than good.
suspect.
Honestly, like most of the games, I think defensively we're not that bad. But in terms of like midfield, we had issues.
Blowing leads like a fucking sack of shit. And
you can't blame goals on.
If Benjamin Pavard would keep his shit together, I think the defense would have been a whole lot better. Because the thing is what ended up happening with Benji is he would make an amazing Mats Hummels last second tackle, and then somebody would fucking do something, and his bipolar shit kicked off, and that dude tried to fucking kill you. That's the only thing I worry about it with Benji is if you piss him off, he may try to shank you. Dude's a little bit unstable.
Like, but to be honest, to answer the question, for me it's a back two. Like, because if you go with a back three, then you only have 3 great center backs. You get one injured, then you are forced to go back to a back two. So what's the point? Like for me, I would more see like 2 center backs competing with other 2 center backs. Thinking like Walker can also maybe play there, and Mazraoui and Walker on the right back position, and you have Davis and Guerrero on the other side. But
I mean, Walker's played center back too, right?
Yeah. I think he can do it. Honestly, like now that he's getting old, I think it's maybe even more useful playing both roles. But
I mean, I do it in
Stanisic,
FIFA.
So let's not forget about him.
FIFA. I put Kyle
I mean,
Walker
in FIFA is great. Like that's the best solution probably you can find to like super fast strikers.
No,
but
what you do is you do what I do.
I don't know how it goes.
You put Ferland, Mendy, and Davies as your center back, and then tell everybody to kiss your ass.
I mean, listen, I used to play with Bayern 2013, and I think that was the best FIFA team I ever played with. Or like 2014.
You gotta play with the damn the German women's team on the new women's World Cup thing. I bust people's ass with the women's world team.
I mean, one of my best friends here is Argentinian and he's a fan of River Plate. So whenever we play, it's Boca against River, and I'm getting
River
even tired.
Plate. Get the fuck
but they love.
That's the second fucking live stream in a row. Devin, I swear to God, if this is going to be a trend, I'm going to make a little thing in the background that says fucking no River Plate. No.
Get Devin to Argentina. That's what this thing is about.
He loves River Plate as well. So I play with Boca,
granted, I do want to go down there and watch a game, but because Ryan's mouth would work in fucking Boca Juniors. But the thing is walking back out of the stadium, y'all may or may not see me again.
I mean, just wear a River Plate shirt and you should be fine. I don't think they're that.
So
like,
Boca?
No, like to River Plate. If you go to Boca,
I
then,
say,
La Bombonera.
I will die coming out of that damn thing. Let's see. See if we have
that's
another
not something
question.
to do. That's like a suicide wish if you were.
Pretty much. Somebody said Davies left wing back, Coman right wing back. Why would you? I love it, but the thing is now we actually have wing backs. We kind of don't need to put Coman in that spot anymore. I mean, if you do it that way, you essentially could use Walker as a right wing back, or you could use Guerrero as a right wing back because he can play that too.
Yeah, but in terms of like progression of the ball, Coman is really good. Like a lot of people really underestimate that about him. But then if you play with the back three, But if you play with,
would you waste him back there though? If you have a Guerrero that, in Bundesliga terms, if you put Davies at left wing back, Guerrero at right wing back, you essentially have the 2 best wing backs, not named Jeremy Frimpong, in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, but you don't play Coman like right wing back. He's more of a right midfielder. He's more advanced than Davis. Then, if that's the case, because you want him to take the ball up the pitch, and then you have Kimmich next to him, so it should be doable. But if it's that, I would go with does the formation question not come down to defensive midfield? Yeah.
I still see Konrad Leimer as being an adequate center defending mid. And it gets or it starts a conversation of yes, he does do the same type of stuff Kimmich does. He plays roughly the same way Kimmich does. So the thing is we've played with Kimmich as a six for so long. If we
Yeah.
have a Limer can play the six as Kimmich goes forward and is creative, and Limer's already back there kind of defending. But if Limer ends up wanting to go forward and being creative, which he can be, as we saw with Leipzig, then Kimmich can fall back. So I mean, the thing is with that,
Yeah.
you really have a give and take that kind
Yeah.
of works. Because with Goretzka, his defending is suspect.
Yeah, but exactly, like
and Gravenberch really can't defend well either. Gravenberch is really good going forward, but not really good. So I mean, you've got Goretzka and Gravenberch that are good going
Yeah.
forward, just
Yeah,
very subpar going backwards.
I'll be honest, like my issues with them are in terms of like positioning. It's just like awareness. So when we don't have the ball and we like defending basically, I don't like how they position themselves. Like Goretzka, you could see Tuchel like calling him times and times again to move towards some player or like position himself differently.
Yeah.
Same with any other player. Like Gravenberg has the same issues. Leimer again, like for me, Conrad, if you want to use his best attributes, you have to let him run after the ball. Like if you just take him and put him and ask him to like be positioned and intercept and try to like win balls without like having to run after someone, you limit him. I'm not sure he's really good at that, and he's not that good at like passing the ball. So the very first build-up phase or like the second build-up phase, we will struggle a lot. So again, it's the same situation. And in Germany, a lot of people, like if you can notice, like they press us extremely high. Like they really like follow every ball they can have, and they try and win every ball they can have. So it's really complicated for the midfield in general. I think we had a lot more ease in the Champions League last season than in the Bundesliga, and people don't even know. But like the pressing, for example, against Wolfsburg, when they pressed us with like 6 players, it was crazy.
It was almost like they had 6 attacks.
Augustus.
Exactly, like 6 attackers.
They just went all out.
Times. Like,
Augustus.
Now,
who is your opening day goalkeeper?
Opening day goalkeeper. I think Mamardashvili, if we manage to sign him, but if not, I really don't know how we have to be
Ulrich at this point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Mamardashvili.
Without signing anybody, it'll be Ulrich.
It would be Ulrich.
I see Bono as the guy versus the kid from Valencia. I see Bono being the easier get just because he's a little bit farther up in age.
Why are
I know a little bit Bono. Like I know some of his close circles.
He's adequate,
and he's a great guy. He's a super great guy.
For Bayern, why is Andre Onana not a name being mentioned to Bayern? Like that would.
I told the same. I told the same. The fact that he's free, he's a big fan of Manuel Neuer, but I think it's the fact that he doesn't want to be a backup, as Ryan said. I'm not even sure Bayern tried.
We're not trying.
But I don't think Bayern.
He basically said Man United.
I mean, but I think if Bayern came with a good offer, I think we would have attracted him. But you have Manuel Neuer coming back, and clearly Bayern's plan is that he would play this season. So the question now is having a great backup, solid backup without like overpaying. So I think it's going to be Bono or Mamardashvili.
I mean,
like,
I'd rather have
cheap options.
I'd rather have Ortega though.
Yeah, but can you get him?
No.
Yeah,
but I mean, the thing is that's
too late.
I mean, Jan Sommer is definitely going to Inter Milan. They can sit there and like you've got the guys in the news that are blowing smoke up. Oh, maybe he might not. Man, shut the fuck up. Yeah, he is. But he'll go to Inter.
In last year for you guys, like honestly, like Sommer I think gets overlooked just because of the Gladbach ties, but like he was above serviceable. There was times where he was great last season.
Yeah. My only issue with Jan Sommer is some of the ones that he missed it by like that much, and it's just because he was if it would have been an inch taller, he would have stopped.
Yeah, but Iker Casillas was not that tall. Like for me, honestly, all in all, he came in when we needed him. He did his job. He was not the best, and you come at Bayern and you have to be compared to Manuel Neuer. So it's not easy. And Manuel Neuer played 6 months up until that point. So yeah, he came
Yeah.
in, and the comparisons were very vivid. You know, people remembered how the other one was goalkeeping, and the passes is a lot more than just a goalkeeper. So I think Jan Sommer had a lot to deal with, and I think it was normal that he would not satisfy everyone. But all in all, I
He
don't
did
think
what he was
he's.
supposed to.
Yeah, he did what he's supposed to do. Like, he came for 8 million. What do you expect? You know, like, for 8 million, he
Yeah.
did his job. He wanted to
We've
come,
got the agreement that he gets sold for 8 million. So I
and you
mean,
know,
basically,
it's
that's the
Nubel
best part about it.
who bothers me. It's
Nubel
the
Nubel can
Nubel.
fucking blow me.
Like, he stayed loyal to AS Monaco, and in the end they were like, "Oh yeah, go back to Bayern." Like,
Yeah.
that like, for me, is
I mean, he did
hilarious. Like, you could have had a
everything.
chance to
Yeah,
play
he
6 months as Bayern's goalkeeper.
and prove yourself to be like, hey, look, this is what I offer you. And that's what I kept trying to tell everybody. Was like, dude, we are
Exactly.
giving you what you want. You want to start, we're giving you a 6-month tryout. Come in here, do your job, and earn the spot.
And
But he
he
was like,
stayed
I
at
want to,
Monaco that were not
yeah. He
loyal
was
back
like,
to him, you know.
well, I mean, that just shows you how
If
fucking unloyal some of these motherfuckers are.
you know, at
Lucas
least stay loyal to
Hernandez,
the club who signed you. I mean, for me, I get it. I get why he wanted to be loyal to Monaco, but at least make sure that they want you back. You know, like, if you're
but
just staying there for 6 months because you
yeah,
feel it,
because you want to be you want to be that guy. It's like, okay, be
I
that
don't get
guy,
it.
and fucking now you're going to
For me,
probably
it's kind of the
Stuttgart or
disappointing
Leeds.
part. But yeah,
Well, and the thing is so he's going to go from Monaco, which is in the top flight of France, to either the second tier of English football to
yeah,
Leeds, or he goes to honestly, and I have a soft spot for Stuttgart because that's where some family are from, but
mm.
you're going to go to a subpar team. I mean,
I mean,
you're
Stuttgart
going
is
essentially
is
back
still
to
good.
a Schalke.
Yeah, but I think it's.
I mean, he's
I think
going
he
back
can
to
land
essentially
better
the new
teams. I'm not
Schalke.
sure. Yeah.
Well, I
Nah,
have a
he
quick
can't land
question.
anything now.
I have a quick
Yeah.
Not
question
yet.
for both. This is and because, like I said, today's a good day for me. You know, Timber
Great.
and Rice, get all your supplies if you're at Arsenal. We
Congrats.
the Timber and Rice locked in. This I got to dip out because I got to start cooking dinner. But
Lord Jesus.
who is coming to buy? Like
Yeah.
by the end of the summer, who do you? And I want to hear from both of you.
Yeah.
Who is Bayern going to sign? A lot of teams are getting their business done early. Who do you
Yeah.
see? Does Bayern stand pat? I'm really interested. I want to know who you see.
You want to go first, Ryan, or?
I'll let you go because
Yeah, I mean,
once he's done, we can keep going.
sure. Okay, for me, I think Kane is coming. I see it that way. I've been very optimistic from day one. Now, I do know it's a question of price. I do know the deal can collapse any minute, but I see it happening. I think he's the only option really available for us, and I think we would go a bit crazy for him. Yeah, but Ryan would disagree. But yeah, I see Kane first. I see Walker as well coming because I think kind of like done deal for now. Who else? I honestly, for this number 6 position, I have no idea. But I think Bayern themselves have
I think
no
we're
idea right
done
now.
with
I
that.
think they will look at the market. I hope it's gonna be Wiefer. I'm not sure. I think he's excellent. I really think he fits what we need. And I know a lot of people will tell me I said this about other players before, but yeah, that's part of the game. But I think the kid is talented. I think he has what he needs to succeed at Bayern, and I hope he's the number 6 that Bayern would choose. But yeah, other than Kane and Walker, I don't see other players really. I think the number 6 would be a question of how much we pay for Kane, to be honest.
So you're going super old, super experienced, like
Yeah, for both positions. But I think like Thomas Tuchel, he sees himself at Bayern for 1-2 more years, and I think he wants more experienced players. Like, he came in last season, it was very complicated. Obviously, wanted to pick some Premier League players. I think he sees them as the most ready, maybe most tactically up to the level that he wants or he needs. So Kyle Walker, I think, as a backup option is good. Kane, for me, yeah, you look at Osimhen, it's probably the best option for us, but it's super expensive. So what do? You go for Kane, you pay like 100 million less, and you hope that the next striker would show up, or like Matistel would take over that role. instead of paying like 200 million, and then maybe Osimhen would not be exactly what we need. You never know, like with them transfers, because a lot of people act like it's exact science, but for me, it never goes like you fully expect. Like Renato, for example, is one of those examples. Like fully talented, ready to play for Bayern. He comes in and it's life. It's what happens around him that like interferes with that, and then is not at the level Bayern expects, and he doesn't play, and then he goes on loan. It's a whole different career. So I think when you sign a player, you should always look at the financial aspect and the quality of the player. And Kane here ticks both boxes. So I'd say Kane and Walker, and hopefully we can get a number 6, because I think Thomas Tuchel wants number 6 as well.
Now, again, are you looking at an experienced 6, or are you going to look at somebody a little bit younger?
No, I think for the number 6 position, we need someone who's a bit younger for sure.
I see the name Chouameni, but I also see the words cheap next to it. Chouameni has a £115 million release clause. Like he's not.
He's the perfect guy, but like he's too expensive. Like
oh yeah, so
and
y'all
I'm not even sure Real Madrid wants to let him go.
Oh, y'all ain't letting me talk. I see how it is. Yeah, bad.
No, go, Ryan. Sorry.
So basically, the way that I see it is, I see us not getting Harry Kane. I see that one fucking collapsing. To the tune of he's going to re-sign with Spurs. Spurs are basically giving him you can shake your fucking head all you want. Shut up. Shut your ass up. The Arsenal guy doesn't want them to re-sign him because he knows that at some point you're going to fucking collapse.
I just want him to leave on a free. I want him to leave on a free.
Watch. I want him
to leave on a free.
Yes.
I want him to go to the end of the damn season. Not Bayern sign him. I want him to go to fucking Arsenal just to piss them off. But anyway, the way that I see it going is Bayern Munich we're doing the tunnel vision shit again. The same thing we did with Callum Hudson-Odoi. And we've already pissed off fucking Kolo Muani's crew. We've already fucking essentially made it so Victor Osimhen is basically we extremely overshowed our hands on that with Brazo because he wouldn't shut the fuck up in the media. And that's your leak to a lot of this crap. But the thing is what I see is Kane falling through. Us go because they say anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks for that. 2 to 3 weeks is a long time for him to stay at Spurs and get a bunch of birds chirping in his fucking ears. Yeah. So I see an unhappy Dusan Vlahovic sitting at fucking Juventus, us swooping in the last second to sign him a la fucking Coutinho or a la James Rodriguez, get him at a loan. He comes in, impresses
in a loan, though. I'm not sure.
Yes, a loan with an option to buy.
Yeah.
Forced
option. Obligation, yeah.
But the thing is
games for you and you have to like that.
But the thing is what you do is you put him in there, you give him that option to buy. He scores an ungodly amount for what Bayern FT want to give him fucking credit for. And then he proves himself. And then you're like, okay, well, we've got this kid that we could get for 60 million, 70 million.
Yeah.
Or we can try to get into the bidding war with Harry Kane. We're not going to win that bidding war. I don't give a shit who anybody thinks. Bayern doesn't have that war chest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The winners of that one's going to be the Man Uniteds, the Newcastles. We're not going to outbid them. So the thing is, I see Vlahovic coming in as a last-second ditch, you know what I'm saying, loan. And then we're not going to get a 6. Conrad Leimer's that guy. We've got Kim Min-jae in. We've got Guerrero in. We've got Leimer in. I see us getting rid of Sadio Mane, Matthias Tell moving into that position. And once we get a Vlahovic, we're done. Besides, like, say, a goalkeeper. But I don't see us going anywhere because next year, we'll go for Florian Wirtz. And then we'll be going for a Chouameni, Kamavinga, or somebody of that, a Thuram, somebody of that.
Yeah.
And that's the other one. If we don't go for a Vlahovic, it'll be a Nicholas Fulkrug, just to get us to the point of, do we continue to pursue Kane, or do we pursue Vlahovic, or maybe give Kolo Muani that extra year
Nobody's
to see
mentioning
if
the
he's
right
that guy.
name. Nobody is mentioning the right name, and it's right there. You got a bid for Julian Alvarez. Like, call Man City.
Fuck Julian Alvarez.
Yeah, but
what the fuck has he done?
Every time he steps on the pitch.
No,
The
but
4
like,
times he was on the
does he
fucking
even
pitch.
want to leave as well? You know.
No, he's happy as shit being the.
I think he's very
the
happy at
Phil
Man
Foden.
City, and he will
I
play
mean,
definitely a lot more next season because the
Yeah.
first one is always the one where you
I mean,
fit in,
and the thing is Julian.
he will play next
Al-
to him. You know, I don't see him replacing Erling Haaland all the time, but I think they work together.
But
as
I mean,
well.
like a Julian Alvarez is the same thing as like a Thiago Almada. He's the same thing as a whatchamacallit McAllister. Their names or an Enzo Fernandez. They only matter because they played with Messi and won a fucking rigged World Cup. Yes, I fucking said it. Rigged World Cup. All of them together played all of like 30 minutes in that World Cup. I mean, McAllister played a decent amount, but the thing is he's not something anybody needs to fucking brag about. And Ramos, the guy from, I think it's Sporting or something like that, the striker, I don't see him making that jump.
No, Benfica,
I don't see him making that jump to Bayern Munich and being that guy, because still, if you look at the stuff that's come out of Benfica as far as attackers, name me one that's been extremely successful since they left Benfica, because Nunez
it's true.
fell on his fucking face.
But most of them made like big jumps, you know, like even
massive
Joao Felix, you know, like I said it a long time ago. For me,
and Felix, I mean,
too big, too fast.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like Ramos, however you say his name, Gonzalo Ramos.
Yeah, Gonzalo Ramos.
Because Zizou brought that up. But the thing is what I see with him is that's still a big jump for him. I see him on the level of like, say, a Ruben Neves at Wolves, kind of along those lines. You don't want to make that jump. Neves is going to find out the hard way that it's cool. It's cool to sign for the Saudi league, but you ain't that guy, bro. It's the same thing as like Jordan Henderson. You ain't that guy, bro. You out, Devin?
Yeah, bros. I gotta go. Hey, Augustus, it was great meeting you, man. To everybody in
the chat, to meet you, Devin. Thanks.
Thanks for asking the question. Great. And
ciao, man.
I gotta bounce.
And we'll have you back on.
Thank you, my man.
Yes, sir. But like the Gonzalo Ramos, I mean, I've seen his name being brought up a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, because like I said, the Benfica players that have come out really haven't lived up to what everybody thinks they are.
Sure.
Darwin Nunez is probably the closest, but he still hasn't been able to do what everybody thinks he's going to do. What is that? Al Nassr, Bayern gave Al Nassr permission to negotiate with Sadio Mane. Our asking price is 30 million. We're not going to get 30 million for Sadio Mane. Our asking price may be 30. We're going to get probably 40 or 50. We're not fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
we know they pay whatever you ask. They've already pretty much shown.
I think if Mane agrees with the Saudi club, I think Bayern would sell in a heartbeat. You know, I don't think we even would make it like that complicated, or like we try to negotiate. I think if we get 20 million or 30 million and a good deal.
But the thing is I don't think but the Saudi leagues really haven't really tried to negotiate with anybody. They're just like, how much do you want for this guy? And they're like, 100 million. They're like, okay, here's the fucking cash. So I mean, and
does that project really work though?
It works for them because they have unlimited folds of cash. But the thing is it going to turn into the Chinese Super League all over again?
Exactly. Like, that's the question. Like,
the Chinese Super League really didn't have those funds. Saudi Arabia has that fund. The PIF fund is fucking deep.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The thing that I see with like a Sadio Mane, and it's like I brought up in a different like podcast type thing, is the Saudi league. What the majority of players that they're signing are Muslim type players. And I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. But the thing is with them going to Saudi Arabia, they're seen in a completely different light at that point. Like Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante, Sadio Mane, those types of guys, they're seen completely differently in a Muslim country than they would be in Spain or Germany, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they assume that, like, say, a Ronaldo is a god there. You put a Ronaldo, you know what I'm saying? You put a Benzema or a Mane there, who are essentially big names that are of the Muslim community. Then you're looking at an extreme superstar. You know what I'm saying? And that pushes the religion and all that kind of stuff of that country, which is actually a really good thing for them. So I think that's the thing that they have above the Chinese Super League, because the Chinese Super League would see like Hulk or Oscar and them. China still saw them as like an outsider. Yeah, they would still look at them as an outsider. But if you bring in Benzema and those guys, yes, they're technically outsiders.
Yeah. But they would be accepted.
It's a one of us type thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
for sure.
Do I like what Saudi Arabia is doing? No, but I mean, I can't control it.
Like, there's nothing to like or unlike about it. You know, for me, I get it. Like, if I had money, I'd also want to have all these players playing in my league. You know, like, there's nothing like bad or evil
like
about it.
In real life, they're putting together. It's
exactly that. I mean, I can pay these salaries, so why not? I want to have all these players in my league. I want to have Ronaldo, Benzema, and all these guys. Like,
do you see Paul Pogba
it's not
evil,
going there? Or what?
Do you see Pogba going there?
Yeah, for sure. I think in few years
he's down to what, 10?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's down to 10 million. I don't think anybody wants him right now.
Yeah, like 1-2 years. I mean, I think he still wants to play in Europe this year. I'm not sure. I've not been following, to be honest, his latest news, but yeah, I do see him as well going there. I think a lot of players would make that jump. It's a bit like the MLS before, a long time ago, and then Qatar after, and China after, and now Saudi Arabia. Now, the problem I have with the overall project is how much you invest and how much you actually get out of it, and then that's the big question. Like, when we talk about Senegal, about Morocco, and I've talked a lot about them. These two countries, not like perfect, but they invested in their infrastructure in terms of footballing. Academies, etc., and today they have like two of the best national teams in the whole continent. And I think that Saudi Arabia, why are you not investing that in your own talent? And that is my own question. You know, that's my issue with the project. Other than that,
didn't the Saudis were the ones that beat Argentina in the first game, right? Saudi Arabia 2-1, okay. But the crazy thing is, if you look at like the Senegal national team, the best players on the Senegal national team, Mendy, Koulibaly, now you've got possibly Mane. So you've got the three faces of Senegalese football going to Saudi Arabia.
Now,
I mean, it may be the time where Saudi Arabia starts investing in Senegal football.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you're already buying.
I mean,
essentially the entire national
that's what
team.
They did. Yeah. Like FC Metz, I don't know. Yeah, Metz, but like the French team, that's what they did. Like, they have an academy in Senegal, or they are partners with this academy in Senegal.
Yes.
And that's how they got money. Yeah. I mean, Salzburg are following a lot of those talents, like, that they come out of there, and then honestly, the results are amazing. I've seen them like at the AFCON, U17, and other competitions, and they're really good. They're really good. I don't know how far they will go, like, in terms of generation, but I haven't seen where Saudi Arabia has a problem paying the clubs. The issue with that is probably along the same lines as what it used to be with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the U.S. They were owned by the real Ronaldo, not that fucking fake pretty boy, but fat Ronaldo, if you will. But R9 was the one that owned it. All of his bank accounts were in Brazil. So when he would try to pay in the U.S., like, would try to wire the money to the team, it kept getting hung up because the U.S. government would see it as, large sums of money coming from Brazil going to Fort Lauderdale, which is essentially like Miami area-ish. So the thing is, when you have major amounts of money going to those things, a lot of like the financial
what do you call it? Like the government's financial divisions and stuff see that as a massive amount of money coming from Saudi Arabia going to this.
Yeah.
They don't see it as Al Nasser paying Chelsea or Al Nasser paying Bayern Munich. So the financial register's office sees $30 million getting paid to Munich. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of numbers going to Munich. Yeah, it's going to get held up because they don't know what that money is, where that, what that money's going to fucking Munich for.
Yeah.
So now, do they have the, what do you say, the reason to do that? I'd say yeah. Because, I mean, it's coming from the Saudi government, essentially the Saudi government, going to a private entity in a different country. Yes, it's going to get hung up. But trust me, Saudis do not have fucking problem with money. I mean, if the club wants to be an asshole and be like, hey, we don't accept wire transfers, we only accept cash, they'll fly a couple boxes of cash to fucking Munich to pay them. So, but yeah, if y'all have any questions, I know Giga Musiala said he had questions for Augustus, and I think that may be the question for Chouameni that Devin had already covered. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I can see Bayern going after a big name number 6 next season. This season, I don't see us doing that because I think we want to spend a lot on a striker.
Yeah.
But the thing is and you could call me cynical, but you've been around the transfer thing as far as like Bayern and other places.
Yeah.
I see Callum Hudson-Odoi, that whole saga of that bullshit. I see that same thing happening with Kane right now because it's being played out more in the media. You know what I'm saying? It's CF Bayern and Plettenberg and Sky Sports and you know what I'm saying, all those guys. Even though Bayern was like, we're not going to, or I think it was Yuli and Dresden, those guys had made a stand saying we're not going to leak information. And for the longest time, you didn't see any information getting leaked. Now all of a sudden, it's like floodgates are open and everybody's leaking fucking everything.
Yeah.
Are they really leaking it, or is it shit that they're regurgitating, rewording, that type of shit? Because I mean, you've seen it. There's a lot of people that are, and they'll call it out on Twitter, and that's the good thing, is they're like, oh, this is the same shit that fucking Christian Falk said last week, but now fucking Plettenberg saying it, and then 2 days later, then Fabrizio Romano fucking says it, then this guy says it, and it's like,
and they all copy each other like that.
You're just like tennis ball in that shit. You're bouncing it, but the same letterhead
somehow,
with the same fucking
for
crap.
Sure.
And that's why I keep trying to explain to people that everybody's hung up on, did Fabrizio Romano say it? It only matters if Fabrizio Romano, yes, is a very good writer. He's a very good journalist. He's a very good investigative journalist. But the difference with him and say Plettenberg, let's see, Philip Kessler, you know what I'm saying? Guys that like TZ, guys that are like a kicker. Yeah. And stuff like that. The difference in Fabrizio is Fabrizio tries to do everybody.
Yeah.
So the issue with what his information is he'll type one thing and he'll go back and change it in a tweet later on just so he can be right. And the thing is he wants to be more of, and I don't know how, and I'll let you do your thing, but I see him more as wanting to be the transfer influencer versus the guy that actually breaks the fucking news. I see him as being the guy that, I'm going to take Philip Kessler and TZ Munich's rumor, put my name on it, throw it right back out there, and then I get the credit because nobody knows who Philip Kessler is, or nobody knows who Orenstein. Well, David Orenstein's pretty fucking big, but you know what I'm saying? They know Christian Falk. Christian Falk, as we both know, tried to do that, trying to be the Fabrizio Romano, tried to be that guy that's an influencer, and found out very hard you can't fucking do that shit. Because that's when he was trying to twerk for fucking the EPL fans and shit like that, and he fell on his fucking face. But it's like Fabrizio kind of does that same type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you see how the different rumors and shit like that go?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a lot of good points. So it's very hard to speak about it after that. Like for me, it's kind of similar. The way I see it is, I see what makes sense. Like I don't believe just anything I read, and I
Yeah.
think it's really dumb if anyone does. Like to be honest, like anyone listening to us, like try to see if it makes sense in the
Mm.
larger scale of things. Like for example, when Christian Falk comes and says, "Oh, I see Daniel," I think Daniel, his name is Levi or Levy or whatever you want to call him, um, want to make Bayern bleed, and I'm like, okay, like, how did you
I
hear
mean,
about
that's
it? His entourage.
yeah.
Come on, for me that, and then the next day you say, "Oh, he's sitting with Bayern and he's having like a breakfast with Bayern officials, flying all
Mm.
the way to London." Like, how do you think that happens from saying like he's gonna make Bayern bleed, and then the next day saying he's having like breakfast with them? So you have to filter the news as they come, and as you said, for me, Fabrizio is someone who I think he focuses on few big signings this season, but other than
Hmm.
that, he tries to do everyone. And
Yeah.
when you do everyone, you obviously not really good at everything, because you can't have the breaking news for everyone. So you copy. It's very simple. It's very clear. Um, Now, in terms of the German journalists, for me, like I really respect most. I be honest, I think it's a hard work. I think obviously they get news from sources. Now, those news are not always right, and I don't really blame them.
Mm.
I just don't like when they try and hype, something like I forgot his name, but Norwegian player who does
You talking
podcast
about
now, and
Jan?
Jan something. Yeah, I
Jan,
forgot.
yeah. You
Uh,
understand how bad he actually hates Bayern Munich, right?
it's crazy. Like
He
he's been
fucking
saying for
hates Bayern Munich.
months, Kane to Bayern is nope. Like no chance. He will not even talk to Bayern. Then he was like, "Oh yeah, he's talking to Bayern." Wait, he said yes to Bayern. Then that means he also said yes to Manchester, Newcastle. And for me, like, okay, like just come clear, say that you don't think this deal is
And
happening, and I would respect that. I would be like, fair
the
enough. If
craziest
you
thing
don't
with
think this
him
deal is,
is he was in Munich when I was there in May of 2022, and they were covering for like ESPN and stuff like that for the Klassiker, and so that was April of 2022.
yeah,
Um, and basically I was just out and about at the Marienplatz, and they were like over there getting ready to film, and like yeah, that's all he fucking did was do everything he could to shit on Bayern. And like and the crazy thing was is like the ESPN guys that were around him were like, "Hey, do you want to talk to him?" I was like, "I don't fucking give a shit about Jan. Fuck him. Like I want to talk to fucking Archie." And
yeah,
so Jan kind of kept looking over at me, and they went to, I guess, like a commercial break, or they went to, what I'm saying, go to something
yeah.
else. And he's like, "Oh, so I hear you're a big Bayern fan." I was like, "Oh, I hear you're a big asshole." And he kind of like looked at me. I was like, "You keep shitting on my club, I'm gonna beat your ass in the middle of this fucking little area." I was like, "Dude, I can only take so fucking much. What the fuck, bro? Stop shitting on my club." But I mean, he's essentially the same as Didi Hamann. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Literally anything he
yeah,
can do to take that
yeah,
knife and stick it at Bayern or twist it a little bit.
yeah.
It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here with
No,
that
but like
fucking
just
noise.
just be honest, like just come clear, say I don't think this deal is gonna happen. Like you said, like the way you said it, I totally respect that. You don't think this deal is gonna go through, you think it's gonna collapse, you think there's something that's gonna happen. But I think the issue he has is that he didn't believe it will happen, but he's good friends with Falk, and I think that he believes him. So when he told him that,
Yeah.
wait, Bayern would not like be into Kane if Kane is not into Bayern, he tried to explain it somehow that it didn't.
Oh yeah. If you take Didi Hamann seriously, you have lost control of over your life.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I mean, like Klopp destroyed him a long time ago, and
But like the
that
thing
that
with
ends
like
there. Yeah,
that a lot of people don't realize with like say and I'll fucking expose it and I don't give a shit. Um people like Christian Falk and stuff like that pay people to sit at airports, pay people to sit outside of the VIP entrances of airports. I know a guy that his only job with Build as a freelancer is to sit there and report back to Build when a Bayern plane lands, or when, you know what I'm saying, be the guy that just sits on the fucking thing and looks and watches the planes fucking going everywhere, and to triangulate, hey, this guy's Instagram story has him in this place and he's flying to this place and the plane tail number is supposed to land in this field in Munich. I mean, so the thing is like, you've got guys like that's what they're paid to do, is track airplane numbers. So when you look at like a Fabrizio Romano and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, well, if he's not going to break it before, like, say, a Christian Falk, a Philip Kessler, you know what I'm saying? Those
For
guys
Nagelsmann,
are going to break
he
it.
did, huh?
Well, the Nagelsmann thing he did because if I don't know if it was on YouTube or if it was on like Netflix or something like that. It may have been on ESPN app, but they followed Fabrizio Romano around for like a transfer for a day. And what he gets a lot of his information from agents, people that work inside the club and stuff like that. But when you're like a Christian Falk and guys like that pay people to sit your ass at an airport, you're going to know way before everybody else does that somebody's ass is going to be getting on a fucking airplane. I mean, it's like the dude that got banned on Twitter for following Elon Musk's plane or whatever the fuck it was. And it's like, when you've got people that their literal job is to follow a fucking tail number.
I mean, the Bayern FC does a great job at that. So
the Bayern
like
FC
with Leroy Sané, that was
and see, and that's another one. When people wanted to really go in at Bayern Munich, as far as like our wages and shit like that, it was the signing of Leroy Sané and it was the signing of Lucas Hernandez that essentially took our wage structure and blew it straight to hell. Hernandez was the start. When we brought him in and it got out to the players of how much he fucking makes. And that's the thing that I don't like about the rumors and shit. Don't fucking put out how much somebody makes, because then you're going to end up doing a David Alaba. And the reason why Alaba fucking left is because Hernandez was making extreme amounts of money and was always fucking
Kroos
hurt.
as well. Like, it's been for years. I mean, Kroos left because of how much goals they was making. So
Tony Cruz could kiss my fucking ass.
Nah, he's a great player. But I think we have a question.
He does this shit way too much. He talks too much. All right, which one we got?
He talks a lot, but he's a good player. Yeah, there you guys.
No, fuck no. I see Ronaldo.
He's a great player.
Ronaldo, I don't see Ronaldo going to Newcastle either. To be 100% honest,
me neither.
I see Ronaldo seeing what happened to Messi in the MLS, and I see Ronaldo actually going to, and I hate it because they're associated with us through red and gold football, but I see Ronaldo going to LAFC. And doing roughly the same thing. And I don't see it happening like years down the road. I see it happening like next season. And doing just a one final, kind of like a Gareth Bale, one final hurrah. And doing it that way. I don't see him going to Newcastle.
You really see Ronaldo in the MLS.
Yeah, because the thing is what you see Messi getting is ungodly. Compared to, like, everybody wants to compare it to the same deal as like what you see like a David Beckham type thing, but he's getting like massively more than what Beckham did.
For sure.
And Inter Miami's getting a fucking deal and a half off of that shit, because they don't have to pay him the jersey stuff that's getting paid by Adidas. They don't have to pay him like a share of broadcasting rights, which fucking Apple's doing, and we'll fucking get to that shit in a goddamn minute. But yeah, on to go with that, there are still rape charges for Ronaldo in the U.S. But the thing is if he's coming here to play, you know as well as I do, the fucking U.S. government.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit'll go. That shit'll go away. MLS will find a way for those charges to kind of evaporate. But going back to the news that I guess the news that broke earlier today or late last night about Apple thinking about doing the Bundesliga. Fans that don't live in the U.S. think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Fans that don't live in the U.S. also don't get ESPN. So fans in the U.S. that don't quite understand that ESPN Plus is like $5, $6, $7 a month. You know what I'm saying? You can pay $99 for a year, but you get Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga 2. You know what I'm saying? You get a shit ton of stuff. With Apple, like I said on Twitter, with Apple, you get Bundesliga, MLS, shitty TV shows.
Yeah.
That's all you get. And the thing is as much as it costs, because you have to pay for Apple TV to get the MLS package, or you just pay for the MLS package and you don't get the fucking other shit. So what they're going to do is probably the same, along those same lines, is you get the Bundesliga package, which is going to be massively overpriced, but you don't get the regular crap, like the Ted Lassos and all of that type of shit, because you have to still pay for Apple TV for that. So they're double dipping you.
Crazy.
And then it's crazy because if you look at like the MLS, it's fine and good if this is a fucking Apple, but because I've got a damn Android,
same.
You have to watch it on the mobile like browser.
Yeah.
And the mobile browser is never going to be high definition enough for it to make. And I hate watching. Shit. Yeah, but that's the thing. If you want to watch it through Android, you have to watch it over the browser, and the browser is just fucking insane. It's that bad.
I mean, if you're paying for it, you should not. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it doesn't make any sense. Like paying and then watching it on a browser.
Yeah, and that's why I like it the way that it is, because ESPN has an app on an Android, has an app, and people will sit there and say, well, just watch it on the Apple like TV app on your TV.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not at a bar, like if I'm like now sitting on the front porch and want to smoke because Bayern makes you want to smoke, then you know what I'm saying? You're looking at, you have to be by your TV to watch that stuff on Apple TV or any of that type of stuff. If you're not by a TV, then you're watching it on a browser, and watching it on a browser, we all know you better have great Wi-Fi. If you're trying to do it on like a regular, what do you call it? Like your regular cell phone signal, it's not going to transition well. So until Apple and Android can grow a fucking pair of balls and be able to intertwine the apps, those are my monsters. Thank you. Sorry, the Amazon guy brought my drinks. But yeah, until Apple and Android can get their shit together and figure that out, if you're going to offer Apple TV, Android, allow people to be able to have an application for that. They already allow you to have Apple Music. Give us Apple TV. You know what I'm saying? Just strictly just an app just for that. That for me, that's the selling point. Is if you have an Android, it just doesn't make sense. If you have an Apple, it's amazing. And it
should be for everyone. Like, I really don't like this. I'm sorry. Like, it should be an app for everyone, for any phone you can download. And as you said, they should be able to intertwine, especially if you offer in this service, because it's like having Netflix and then you can only use it on an Android or like on, the whole point is gone. For me, if I have to use my Netflix on a browser, like, let go. Like, I'm not even gonna try.
Terrible.
Just gonna stream these movies. I'm sorry, but like, to be honest, it's not gonna be that that good anyway. So no, I think it's a very good point. For us in Belgium, it's about 23 euros a month. But it's also all included.
Do y'all use Champions Sky League or DAZN, or which one do y'all use in Belgium?
11 it's called.
Oh, okay.
In Belgium, yeah. So, I think they're also now in Canada. I'm not sure, but it's called 11.
Now is all of y'all's included? Like, you get the Bundesliga, Champions League, Pokal, all on the same thing?
Yeah. So I also have on my TV. I have like different abonnements. So this one I have on my laptop. on phone, and especially it's for games when I'm not in the house. But I also have like like I basically have other like ways to watch. So I usually watch on BT Sport or like Fox, etc. So it depends because I honestly like to watch all the leagues, and I don't like being limited, to watching just one league, and that is what bothers me usually with this sort of like subscriptions. Basically, it's when you have to choose, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I'd rather
that's
have
why
both.
ESPN
Yeah,
is one of the better ones because you can watch more games. People are like, oh, well, they make content for uh for the Bundesliga. If you go to Apple,
yeah.
they'll make content for the Bundesliga. But the thing is, ESPN does that already. Derek
Yeah,
Ray and all those
I'm not a
guys
big fan of,
already do all that
but
stuff.
Derek Ray and Archie are, yeah, great guys.
Yeah.
It's just that for me, ESPN, like what they do for the Bundesliga in itself is great. I love everything that is around, the Bundesliga bubble. It's what they do beyond that, like their social media pages, their constant need of like
Yeah.
belittling clubs and
Well,
trolling,
and
etc.
their constant need to kiss the ass of a certain two
Exactly,
players.
exactly,
It's
and
like
and
the whole thing of putting up Messi and like, oh well, he hasn't even started in the U.S. and he's got
yeah.
a hard rock chicken sandwich, and it's like, okay, idiot, they've had his burger for almost a year and a half
Exactly,
almost.
like
I had one in 2022 in April in Munich. So,
I
and they
mean,
do understand that Hard Rock isn't just in the U.S. I think that's the issue with a lot of things, is like American broadcasting places and stuff like that. They don't get that. You do understand, like the U.S. is like this big, the rest of the
yeah,
world's like this big.
yeah, yeah,
You're not
yeah,
the center of the fucking
yeah,
universe.
yeah,
There's other things out there.
yeah.
But Messi coming to the U.S. That's wonderful, well and good for anybody that doesn't buy a
It was
ticket to
great.
watch him play. Because if you buy a ticket to watch him play, you got to take out a second mortgage on your fucking house.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and they essentially like would Bayern, or let's say who finished dead last this year? What was it? Hertha Berlin finished
In the
dead last, or
Bundesliga,
yeah,
yeah,
who
I
was
think
it finished dead?
Hertha, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Schalke, yeah,
say fucking Neymar wants to go play at fucking Hertha Berlin, and then all the
Mhm.
Bundesliga teams paid $2 million to fucking get this dude, and then
Yeah,
Fox and Sky Sports pays him to watch, and then uh,
yeah,
Hertha Berlin's with Nike, so Nike pays him fucking jersey royalties.
yeah,
No, that's fucking dumb. Because the
yeah. I
thing
mean,
is you can't even really play against the guy now
no,
because you're invested in that player. So if
yeah.
your hard charging fucking center back decides to, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You've got the MLS
It's a good point.
Ramos.
It's a good point.
He takes out Messi's knees. Now what happens? Everybody after that,
It's
say
a good
you're,
point.
I don't know, Colorado.
Yeah,
Now you've injured Messi for 6 months, and he's still got 5 games left. And some jagoff at Charlotte paid $20,000 to sit down low to see him, and now it's like, oh well, Messi's injured, so
20.
now it's like, my bad, you're out 20 grand.
I mean, 20,000. I think you can get like a season ticket for
Shit,
Bayern. Like,
you can get 20 season tickets at an MLS team like Charlotte or Atlanta, which are some of the most expensive tickets.
crazy,
If you're looking at Bayern,
crazy.
you can get
Vlaams.
you can get 40 Sud Curve tickets for 20 grand.
Yeah,
They're like 500-600 a piece. Yeah, you get 40, 38, 40 fucking season tickets at Bayern Munich.
yeah. No, it's crazy. It's
Yeah, it's
crazy. I mean,
like,
the prices
what?
there are like
Yeah, it's
it's
fucking
not
insane.
normal. Like you go for 2 hours, you don't go for like. But yeah, back to the sandwich thing, to the burger thing. Like I remember, I think in 2013, I had a Ronaldo
The Ronaldo
burger
burger.
sandwich at KFC. And I'm like,
Yep.
so when I saw that one, I was like, what like, it's not even like something new, and yeah,
I
like
mean,
ESPN.
the Messi burger wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it had like chorizo on it. It had like a fried egg. Had some like
Nice.
supposedly Argentinian like seasoning on it. But now they made a fucking chicken sandwich. It's
Yeah.
just a fucking chicken sandwich.
I mean, my best friend, as I told you, is Argentinian, and he always tells me that they don't use any seasoning. So that would be probably not
Well, fuck
fully
that.
true.
Hard Rock says it's Argentine seasoning,
Okay.
supposedly.
If they say that, then yeah, no, but they're known for their barbecues and the quality of their meat, so they don't
Yeah,
use a lot of a lot of stuff on that.
but
But yeah,
like
there was a.
I
I'm
mean,
not
they.
Belgian, but I live in Belgium. Just to answer the question very fast. But
Ah,
yeah,
okay. But the thing is like back to the thing with like ESPN. It's like
yeah,
do you remember when Lewandowski started as a defender? And it's like, no, that's not even a thing. I can understand if you're trying to be like tongue in cheek and trying to be funny about it. But the thing
yeah,
is like you're ESPN, dude. Don't let Bleacher Report or fucking
yeah,
somebody like that's common for that type of stuff. If you're a like a group like that, it's easy to Google and research that no, that was just a dude that
yeah.
fucked up on the TV. So it's like, God damn, y'all got to stop that
Yeah, I
stupid.
think
But
I think he
ESPN
played right
FC
back.
really
That
does suck.
he didn't play center back, but he played right back. I think that game. No.
He played striker because he scored like 8 minutes after he came on the field.
Yeah, but I still think he
He
played
didn't play
maybe
defender. He didn't play defender.
right because he was not a striker.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
He's been
at
a striker since he
Dortmund,
was like 6.
yeah,
He was a striker at League Poznan. He was a striker everywhere that he's been.
yeah. But like at Dortmund as well, he didn't come as a striker. He
Yeah, he
kind of grew
did.
into it. Like
What
he was more
crack are
of a
you
second
smoking?
striker. Like I'm not saying he was defender as they wrote, but yeah, I from what I remember, I think I read about it that he played as right back, but I didn't see the game, so I don't necessarily know what happened. But yeah, at Dortmund, like I remember very well, like how he made it into the striking position, but no one kind of expected him to make it his
Yeah,
own.
because
But yeah,
I'm
Barrios,
looking
I
at
think.
the website that investigates like the pictures and
Hmm.
stuff. It specifically says in a World Cup qualifier at
Yeah,
underdog San Marino, Lewandowski was subbed on by national coach Leo Benkar, or however you say his name,
yeah.
in the 59th minute. Um, Left Zanir Saganowski left the field for him, and then the
Hmm.
broadcast television station made a mishap, and
Okay.
which seems to be a particularly amusing to this day. When on
Yeah.
the shown on the TV that the substitution Lewandowski was
Well,
called a
center back.
defender,
Yeah.
one could actually have recognized very quickly that that was not the case when he walked to the top of the pitch. And no sooner than 8 minutes later, Lewandowski contributed the goal to the 2-0 final
Yeah.
as a striker. So yes, the picture was messed up. So I mean,
Yeah.
it says he's been a an actual striker since again. Now this has him a striker since 2006. So
Yeah.
since he's been in professional football, he's been a striker.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but
he
I'm
may
like
have
I'm not saying
played.
he was. I'm just saying he was not a lone striker. He usually played behind the striker back then.
Yeah, he played
But yeah,
the Thomas Muller type role
yeah,
that
yeah,
Muller played behind him.
yeah. But he was
But
excellent
yeah,
at it. I mean, like he grew
yeah,
into the
but
number 9 role.
he never played fucking right back.
No,
ESPN,
no, I don't know.
fucking
I mean, right
clowns.
back is what I had in mind, but I didn't watch the game. I just like read something about it, and
No,
then
there
I
was
think it's
the thing
yeah,
was
it's
is
stick.
like some people thought it was a mishap because
Hmm,
at that time there was a Polish like legendary player that was coming to the end of his career that
hmm.
played like I think it was right back or left back. That was a defender. That's last name was Lewandowski.
Okay,
So the thing is that's
yeah,
they think that's where the mishap came from was
okay,
Lewandowski coming on the field. They thought it was that Lewandowski,
yeah.
which I
Stay
mean
there.
back
Yeah,
then, I mean you're still looking at 2008. You still didn't have
yeah,
the type of stuff that we have now, and that's the hardest thing to explain like to the guys on like FT and stuff.
yeah.
It's like y'all people don't understand. Like when I started as a Bayern fan in the '80s,
Crazy.
The only people you talk shit to was family members.
Yeah.
Or like if you were in Munich or something like that, that was the only time you could really talk shit. You couldn't like type a fucking tweet and it's like, hey, fucking Man City sucks. You just never came across a Man City fan.
Yeah. True.
So
true.
And then the other thing is like with like you see a lot of Americans that are Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, stuff like that.
Man City quite big here.
The biggest reason for like the US is when you could see those games easily in the US because you didn't have to ever translate it. So you didn't have to translate from French or Italian or German. They'd throw an EPL game on, you have a British guy, and then you run with it. So they've been around the longest time. That's why they have the biggest deal here, like with NBC Sports and Peacock and all that type of shit. The Bundesliga's catching up. Honestly, in the US, if you base it off of like say who watches what, it's the EPL, then it's the Bundesliga, then it's La Liga, and then it's Italy and the French league. Nobody really gives a shit about.
Bundesliga bigger than La Liga in US?
Based off of like where I am, which is kind of like anecdotally as fuck. If you go to a more like Spanish region, like in LA or Texas or something like that, you'll get that type of La Liga. But I mean, the thing is like if it's El Clasico, the bars are going to be packed with people. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's Madrid versus Barcelona. But like if it's Madrid versus fucking Eibar or fucking Barcelona versus Real Betis, nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is in Belgium. Now the side of Belgium that you're in, is that
the capital,
the German speaking?
No, but like both. I'm actually like studying Dutch. Like there's very small German speaking part, but mainly it's French.
It's right on the German
Dutch.
border, right?
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it was part of Germany. I think it was taken during the World War II or after the World War II or something like that. I don't know the full story, but yeah, basically, they speak German. They're
like right Belgian on that border area, right?
Yeah, like very close to, I think, Aachen. Yeah, something like that.
So it's not like Switzerland where like they speak a like Swiss Deutsch, which is like a Swiss fucking version.
No, I think the German is quite similar to the north of Germany like accent probably. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think they have like a different accent like Switzerland. But in terms of Dutch and French, they do have a different accent. Like they say Flemish, and for example, instead of saying the G, they say R. So yeah, you have like Gravenberg or like Gravenberg. Like I think it's something like that. I can probably do it
like
as
me, and it's Gravenberg.
Or Gravenberg.
I'm just saying it the way that it's spelled. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's a name, so it's fine if you cannot pronounce it. But yeah, like basically, where I am right now, I think most of my neighbors are supporters of the Union Saint-Gilles, so I kind of follow them a little bit as well. I like the club. I like what they represent, but there's also Anderlecht, and they are quite famous. Anderlecht, like now where Zirkzee played actually not so long ago.
Where's he at now?
No idea. I think
I thought he was still at Anderlecht,
Bologna or something. I don't know. Like maybe he would go
playing for fucking Bologna
to Holland actually.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean,
he may have ended up. He may have done like because I know Christopher Scott, Taylor Booth. Who was the other amateur striker? Shit, what was his name? There was another one on Bayern 2 that went to the Netherlands to play.
No, Vidovic.
No, Vidovic. I thought he went to Serbia.
No, I mean he went to Vitesse, I think, in Netherlands.
Which one went to Serbia?
Remember.
I mean, I know he's Serbian.
Maybe I think Serbia. No, I think it was Brazil's son, like Salihamidzic.
So Salihamidzic definitely would not be playing in fucking Serbia.
His son, I
Salihamidzic
think, played in Bosnia, not Serbia, Bosnia. Yeah,
No,
Bosnia.
yeah, but Nick plays for the Whitecaps now.
Yeah, I saw that he went to the Whitecaps. Yeah,
Let me see. Bayern player
next
in
season.
Serbia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just to answer the
is it
yeah.
Panovic? Panovic? No, he played a long time
Panovic?
ago.
No.
There he is. What's his name?
Just to
Motka.
answer, Giga
Namaja
Musiala.
Motka.
Motka. Yeah.
That's the one that went to
Yeah,
Serbia.
Motka.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was Serbian. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, one of those guys that a lot of people expected to see. Yeah, become.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked over.
Yeah. I
But
mean, but that's the
the same
problem with
thing that
youth.
it's the same thing that Abramovich is going through.
Yeah.
Abramovich is good as shit, but goddamn, that is. I
Yeah, but
don't
it's
think
complicated.
fans.
The Bayern.
Yeah, I don't think fans on Twitter and stuff understand the jump
Yeah.
that you have to go from Bayern 2 to
Yeah.
Bayern 1. We were closing that gap when they were in like the in the Treta Liga,
Yeah.
but the thing is it's so fucking hard to make that jump.
It's big jump. Yeah. No, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
And for some players, it comes
they
as
can't
easy.
make that
For
jump.
others, yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got guys like Nicholas Dortch or Mats Hummels,
Yeah.
Mitchell Weiser, Emre Can, guys that once they leave our academy, go somewhere else, establish themselves, get better,
Yeah.
then they have the opportunity to come back. It's kind of like Renato. We're not getting him back. I think we burned that fucking bridge. But
No.
like, if we lose Gravenberch, we'll burn that bridge. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's guys like Nicholas Dortch. He still has that window open if we ever need a player of his caliber. Timothy Tillman at LAFC, which I love Timothy Tillman to death. Love LAFC to death. But once you go to the MLS, you're essentially locked. I mean,
Yeah.
you're stuck there.
Yeah.
Now, his brother Malik's another one.
Yeah.
Do we keep him or do we sell him?
Yeah.
Because he did very well with Rangers.
Yeah.
But bringing him back, he's going to cause an issue with, you know what I'm saying, with Matthias Till.
Yeah.
Like
where
they're
do
going to
you
battle
play him
each
as
other.
well? You know.
Timothy Tillman's going to play that second striker role.
Exactly.
So, and the thing is,
you have Musiala, you have Muller,
we've got a Musiala, we've got Muller, we've got Choupo-Moting.
I mean, for
Sane's
me,
moving into that spot.
And if you waste another year of him, his value would drop like so low. So the best option is so let him go is the best option for him as well to play, as long as he comes from a great season with Rangers, as you said, and you let him go play somewhere where he's trusted. To be honest, you keep maybe a buyback clause and you just like trust it and hope that he would become something that we didn't expect.
I think that's another thing that we're going to do with New Bell is throw like a buyback clause in there, knowing damn well we're not buying these fuckers back. But hey, why the fuck not?
You never know.
Just in case.
You never know. Yeah, but especially if you sell him for cheap, always put it. At least don't get fucked twice.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Off topic. Can we expect Twitter Spaces next season? The first try failed, unfortunately. One thing that envy about. Yes, I actually plan on doing what we do here, like post game and stuff. And as far as like say with Twitter Spaces and stuff, we can definitely get Augustus on complexes and guys like that. I'll run it the same way as we run it here. You know what I'm saying? Basically free flowing. The audience will kind of the audience sort of dictates where we go. The news will dictate sort of where we go. And I mean it's easier to do it that way and just kind of than kind of trying to force a topic. You know what I'm saying? And EPL like you said, EPLs do that after matches and stuff like that. But they force topics like, hey, why did fucking I don't know, fucking Ten Hag not play fucking Rashford at this, and then they go off on a tangent on Rashford for fucking 2 hours. I don't want to do that stupid shit. It's like, hey, Bayern beat the brakes off of Union Berlin. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And then leaving it open that way to go wherever the fuck we're going to go with it. Nianzu kind of was a fuck up on our part. I think he's kind of along the same lines as like a Gravenberch.
Yeah, same. I mean, it was even more patient, to be honest. It's just that it never came. Like his opportunity never came, and then players that were ahead of him were very young and already quite ahead of him. So.
And then when his time did come, red card, fucking 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, we're giving you a chance when we need you, and now you're getting a red card and can't play for 2 fucking games.
But wait, it's still a good question because actually Thomas Tuchel loves him, so makes you wonder.
Thomas Tuchel loves a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, but he's one of those young players that he kind of.
But if you base it off of like the rumors of who Thomas Tuchel likes, Vlahovic would be the striker of choice. But then it's
he also likes Kane, but
And see, my only thing is I don't want all these former EPL guys. I don't want the Bundesliga to turn into the fucking English or the German version of the MLS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where old fogies come to retire. Yeah. But if they want to do that shit at fucking Schalke, Stuttgart, Union Berlin. Don't bring that shit.
Bayern, yeah.
No, we get back Omar Richards. I don't think. Honestly, for me, I didn't really see. Omar was good, but I don't see Omar being a top flight guy. I love the guy, but I just don't see him being a top. I see him excelling in like maybe a second tier, maybe a mid-table club, but I don't see him being like a Bayern. Anything along those lines. I mean, he's best off at like that Reading level, kind of. What's the guy at Norwich? Max Aarons. The same type of player Max Aarons was.
The Bayern FT used to love Max Aarons, so interesting.
And see that's my only thing.
Dest as well, you know.
Fucking Bayern FT. That's my only thing. I don't know who starts this shit with these average ass players and hyping these motherfuckers up.
It's fine. I mean.
The streets will never forget that they blew up Mark Roca like he was goddamn Casemiro, and we found out very quickly Mark Roca is shit.
I'll be honest with you. I think Mark Roca was just unlucky. I think if he came at Bayern now,
he's unlucky because he ain't talented.
I think he's limited. He's very limited, but it's hard to see that. Like if you watch Spanish football, and I did. It's hard to see how he would adapt to German football. You know, like there are a few things that sometimes you don't count for. And the fact that he was so slow, I didn't think he would play such a big role. But he was always slow to duels. It was crazy.
He got fucking teabagged in the EPL, bro. He was terrible. I thought like, hey, him in the midfield with Weston McKennie, who's not fucking great. I don't give a shit what US fans have to say. McKennie wasn't. Or was decent at Schalke, but he wasn't great. He was average, maybe slightly above average at Juve. And then when he went to Leeds, he was fucking average at best.
Yeah.
Aronson was average at best. Tyler Adams by far is the best one of the group.
Clearly.
And Tyler Adams couldn't help fucking Mark Roca. And Adams is 50 times faster. So I mean, with Roca is a smaller version of what Javi Martinez was. The only issue with that is when you're the smaller version of Javi Martinez, you're not winning the headers Javi won.
Yeah,
and you can't also play center back like Javi could, even though Javi was fucking terrible at center back.
Javi was great.
But the thing is when you're in your 20s and you're slower than now Javi Martinez, now we've got an issue. It's like the Axel Witsel scenario where you could be extremely good, but God, you're slow as fuck.
but hey, listen, like Xavi Alonso at Bayern was extremely slow, and it worked. I think it.
Yeah, but he could pass.
he could also intercept. I think Mark Rocco was just
he couldn't pass fucking
like
gas.
a lot of things did not go right in that transfer, and Mark Rocco can pass for sure. No, that's
Nah, he can't.
nah,
You
he
can't.
can pass.
You
He
can't
can
put him
pass.
on that
He's
same level as
extremely
Javi,
good.
as Alonso. Nobody
Maybe not
passes
to the
like
same
Alonso.
level. Maybe not to the same level. Yeah,
I
for
still
sure.
think now. I hate the guy to death because of what he did off the field, but I still think Jerome Boateng probably could have gotten a year or two longer if we'd have moved
Yeah.
him to defending mid, because he's a big kid.
Mm.
I mean, he's still adequately fast enough,
Yeah.
but he's big enough, can defend. Honestly, there's the team that possibly could use the best way of doing a defensive mid would
Yeah.
be like, say, and I know Bayern fans hate to hear the name, but Nicolas Sula could probably be one hell of a center defending mid. I mean,
Feasible. Yeah.
because
Think,
to be a solid number 6, all you are is a center back that's moved up the field.
but then you play as a lone number 6 because if you play in a double pivot,
Yeah.
then you have to do a lot more, and that's I think where it gets complicated for Bayern now. Because
mean,
if it was just about
yeah.
signing a DM, I think we can do without it. But if it's about signing someone who will play alongside Kimmich in a double pivot, and he would
Yeah.
have to do that defensive midfielder role, I think that's where it gets a bit more because you need someone like Javi, like you said, like Martinez was.
But remember,
too good.
at the beginning of all this, they kept saying that they wanted a guy that could control the ball, kind of like the way Thiago did. It was more creative on the ball as like a 6.
Yeah, but like the journalists, honestly, like
But
when
the
it
thing
comes to
is
profiling, they always.
but
Like,
was that a journalist creation, or was that's what Brazo, Khan, and fucking Weasel Boy, is that what they wanted? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, good question. I don't know,
Because
but
it seems like the only thing we really kept from the previous regime's group is Kane.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Basically,
and Rice, yeah,
what yeah, and what they were going after was Kane and Rice, but they were like, oh, we don't want anything to do with. Well, it started. It was Kolo Muani, the only one we
mhm,
wanted. Then
yeah,
it was Brazo leaked it to somebody, and then it was Victor Osimhen's the only one we want, and
yeah,
then it's Harry Kane's the only one we want, and now you've got, and there are other rumors out there of
mm,
freaking Vlahovic's going to be the guy that just sits and waits to the very end of this thing, and somebody's going to call him. I don't
yeah,
know if it'll be. I don't know if it's PSG that's going to call him. I don't know if
for sure,
Bayern's
for
going to be
sure,
the
he's
one that
going
calls him.
somewhere. Yeah, I also see it.
Yeah. So I mean, he's not going to. What the fuck is this noise? There we go. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that shit was. I've got dust on
Yeah,
the keyboard, so for some reason it just keeps popping up random shit.
I think I'm
What
gonna
is this?
leave in a few minutes. I
In a
have
couple of
like
minutes? Okay.
9%
Okay.
on my phone,
Well,
so
we'll go ahead and do this question, and then I'll do the
yep,
halftime type thing.
great.
It says,
Let's do it.
can Mazraoui play defensive midfield if Walker's preferred? Honestly, I'd rather have Walker play in that position.
Walker playing the defensive midfield.
The defensive midfield.
Yeah.
Because we know he
Yeah.
can play at a center back level. I'd rather have him playing in that defensive midfield role, or if we don't use Guerrero in that defensive mid role.
Yeah.
Because they're both defensive minded
Guerrero.
players that can
Yeah.
still go forward if need be. And both of them can pass. I don't know if Walker can pass as good as, like, say, a Guerrero, but Guerrero can pass like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is that's the best part about Rafael Guerrero is everywhere he can play, we may or may not need him there, but he's there if needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as that, I'd prefer Walker to the midfield role than Mazraoui. Just because what Mazraoui brings out wide, I don't know if Kyle Walker used to. I don't know if he still can. That's my only issue with that is I don't know if Kyle Walker can still bring that, or can still bring that over a 90-minute period.
Yeah,
I
good
get
question.
it. You're here for Augustus. I get it. I talk a lot. My bad.
Nah. I mean, it's we're just chilling. we're just chilling. But no, it's yeah. You raise good points. For me, like the double pivot, the way I see it is that you go into the game with someone who can win duels. And when I look at Mazraoui, I think he's really smart, high IQ player, extremely like good at passing, understands everything about the pitch, but he's not physically strong enough to win duels in the midfield. He's not doesn't have that awareness of a midfielder, and it's a bit complicated. So if you move Joshua Kimmich and thinking that he's not defensively maybe good enough, I don't know if that's really the thought behind it, or like you want him to be more creative up front, then you need to replace all that he offers and add some defensive stability to that midfield. So that's why I see someone as Vifer, and a lot of people don't really like maybe see it, but I've watched him, and you know he's a beast. He's very tall, he's super strong, he wins duels, he's good at passing, he's really quite complete in what he offers. And I don't think we need to put someone there just because we feel like we can put someone there. Now, if we don't have a choice, and we go with a 4-3-3, for example, I would not mind having a lone DM who's been a center back or something like that, like an Upamecano or I don't know who people want to see. Maybe Kim would do that. But yeah, then I would be fine with it because we have two midfielders in front of them, both playing, both offering options in the passing lanes and everything. So yeah, that's something I would be more fine with. But Mazraoui, defensive midfielder, I think it pleases the mind, but it would not work, you know. Like,
yeah, I'd still say Walker would be, if you had those two guys, Walker would be the preferred guy there, just because I guess he's used to being in that middle section. Let's see. Bouvon said, "Ask more questions." Well, he only got 9%. You've missed 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go in a bit. I have like 7 now, so it's going down.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get to the halftimes. So the thing is like every guest that I bring on, you're more of a I guess a conundrum, because you don't really put yourself out there like as far as your face and your voice and that type of stuff. But people still look at your social media and it gets them excited. You know what I'm saying? So your social media posts are kind of like the same thing with like a Tom Bogert or Fabrizio Romano, that type of thing, where because you have a major following, those people look to your stuff to kind of brighten their day, brighten their bad mood, stuff like that. How does it make you feel knowing that people will look to your tweets and it brings them out of a dark point or uplifts them, if only for a moment, but it uplifts them? How does that make you feel knowing that?
I mean, great. I would not lie. Like, no, but it's you know, the way I see my Twitter is I see it as a platform for everyone I can help. So I don't necessarily want to see it as I built this is mine, you know, like if someone asks me to retweet, I retweet, usually as long as it fits what I'm tweeting, you know, like it doesn't have to be something that's not related to that. If it's a Bayern thing, if someone lost his account and stuff like that, I see myself as one of the fans, you know, like if I can put my voice there and I can be more heard, then great. And if it lightens up people's day, then it's amazing for me. But like I've worked with even some brands and stuff, and I usually never even ask for money. I'm like at 5% now, so if my phone dies, sorry guys. But yeah, like to be fully honest, I know some people hate my content, others love it. I think it's totally fine. I just deal with it the way it is, and then you know, when I see people trolling me or something, it just makes me laugh. Like I don't take it that seriously. Like I don't think like, you know, I'm for me, I'm one of the fans. I think I have indeed quite a good following, and what I try to do is make sure that I defend my club there. So a lot of people, a lot of times that are asking me like, why do you even bother? But you know, like, man, like I've been on Twitter for so many years. I think I joined in the first account, I think was on 2009. And I've seen so many people shit on Bayern that at some point it pisses you off, you know, like you can't handle it. And sometimes it's just so over the top, like so much hate and stuff. And then And yeah, like for me, that is one of my tasks. Like that's how I see it. If I can defend my club, if I can like do something for the club in general, then it's great. And other than that, I just tweet what I think about the games, and I just try to be like as honest and unbiased as possible. But yeah, if people like that, then I'm more than happy for sure.
Now, the last thing we're going to offer you is you could come on as often as you want,
Appreciate
as
it.
far as like a guest co-host. Obviously, you're going to be a guest co-host with the what do you call it, the Twitter space things. So me and you will be doing that
Sure.
over on Twitter. We'll bring you on here, let you talk, because I guess you're not
Sure.
at Gitter anymore, so we'll let you be here and
Yeah,
vent
get
your
football,
frustrations and stuff. So, but yeah, so I mean, it turned out pretty good.
yeah,
I
it's
know
been a pleasure.
your shit's about to die, so we'll make sure
4%.
we'll make sure we get you out of here, so at least you'll have enough where if you have to make an emergency call or something. But
Nah, it's fine. I will charge it in a bit.
But yeah, so when we bring on any players or any sort of stuff like that, you're welcome to come back and
Pleasure.
be a part of that because we can get up to 6 people in this bad boy. Um, and we do have some like transfer experts possibly coming on next week. I'd love to have you possibly come on that Friday to with your
Sure.
knowledge of the transfer things plus the guy that kind of knows the ins and outs, the back room side, because he's more of a sports lawyer, so he knows
Okay.
kind of the sports law with it. So
Sick.
that's something that I'd love to have is like you with the more of the transfer side of like the fans voice
Yeah.
side of it versus with him with the football law side and how these actually work and how that goes. So yeah, if you're available next Friday, we'll bring you back on.
Let's do it.
And when I'm trying to get like Rafinha and stuff like that. If I could get those guys on, I'll definitely bring you on.
That would be
If I can
sick.
get like Giovanni Elba and players like that, that'd be kind of badass to
Uh,
have another
One of my
Bayern fan.
childhood heroes, by the way. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
So
yeah.
Giovanni, so
Like
so
the
Elba
team
would
I
be
watched.
somebody you want.
I think I
So
had
you,
a shirt of Elber.
but the
Yeah,
thing is that's who you would want to interview. So what you're trying to explain to me is, hey Ryan, go
the,
talk to
make it
Giovanni
happen for
and
me,
bring his ass
Ryan.
on it. Okay, I gotcha. So, but yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
if we can blow this bad boy up, we can definitely bring on a lot of players and stuff along those lines, and that'd be really good. I've sent out feelers. Hopefully, we can get some guys in
Nice.
here. But guys, everybody watching, hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Um, we've been on here for 2 hours and 22 minutes, and I haven't been struck by lightning, so we're good. I think the sun's starting to come out. So, but guys, appreciate you coming on. We
Thank
will
you.
make sure we have you on at some point, probably next week, hopefully, and then maybe we can start doing this as a thing. So, but guys, y'all have a good time. We're out.